pretty quiet around here right now. Everything is shut down, which is really mind-blowing considering this is March, which is normally packed up here because it's spring break for the entire world that comes here to Summit County. And by shut down, I mean it's like a ghost town around here. We're all closed down. Not just me. Everybody in town is shut down, except for what they call the essentials. Those kind of businesses are still open, so you can still get food and things like that. I'm trying to make the best out of this. I'm working on redoing the front lobby at the shop, doing things that I couldn't do so easily when we were open. We're closed for 6 weeks. 6 weeks! And it very well could be a lot longer than that. There are rumors saying this could be anything from 2 months to 6 months to who knows what. And if it is, I'm not the only one that's gonna go under through that. We're gonna have an entire United States pretty much. And for those of you who are new to the channel here, my name is Sean Oz. This channel is the World of Oz. I am the owner of Summit Ink Tattoo up here in Silverthorne, Colorado, and that's the studio I'm talking about that's been shut down for 6 weeks. It's not just me, it's every studio in the entire state of Colorado, and pretty much in the entire nation has shut down. And if you want to help support small businesses like mine, what you can do is check in the description, and I do have a merch store where I'm putting some of my artwork on t-shirts like this one, as well as all the stuff you see on the walls and more, so that we have some kind of income coming in during this time for those of you who do have expendable income still. And I know that's not a lot of you anymore. To be honest, I really don't even know what this video is about. I live in a ski town and there's a pandemic going on. There are no tourists here, Airbnb, hotels. We kicked everybody out when this first started going down. The fact is we have a very small hospital up here in this community, and there's like 10 ICU units, and if we have a crazy outbreak here, people are gonna die. Not to scare anyone, don't get scared. The glass should stay half full, not half empty. Once you start getting scared, you lose rational thought. None of us need that right now. So you know what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna sort of go around and I'm gonna show you guys how empty it actually is here compared to what it normally should be. I mean, normally this parking lot behind me would be packed, full of cars. I'd be slamming tattoo after tattoo all of March. It's usually crazy busy. But right now, the only cars you really see here are people who own the businesses that are coming in to make sure everything's okay. Or maybe they're up here doing like I'm doing and upgrading their actual business. Our gyms, rec centers, all that kind of stuff, anything that has a social aspect to it has pretty much been completely shut down for weeks now. The community here really stepped up and got on top of it ahead of the game. Just now there's other states, other cities that are starting to do what we did a few weeks ago, and hopefully it will help them slow down their thing. But let me take a look. There's nobody here. More and more information's coming in today, and entire state's being told not to drive up to the mountains, not to come up here, for the very reasons that I shared with you earlier. Luckily, being someone that lives up here, we are still allowed to get out of the house. We are still allowed to get out and enjoy nature. It just closed all the major trailheads of all the 14ers and other big mountains out here, so you can't even go hike those anymore because everyone was trying to leave Denver to come up here and congregate here, which would overrun our system. A couple of things that I am going to be doing with this channel during this time is getting some drone only or nature only footage since I'm up here, putting some nice relaxing music to it and putting it up on the channel so you guys can throw that up, pretend like you're outside with me and just sort of enjoy yourselves, relax a little bit and just take the edge off, hopefully. The only place that has any cars in it in the entire county is the damn grocery store. And there's a lot of them. But you gotta do what you gotta do, so be safe, don't touch your face, go in, do your shopping, don't get sneezed on. Grocery store is absolutely crazy. There's so many people here. Nobody is staying 6 feet away from each other. If this thing's gonna keep spreading, it's gonna keep spreading at the grocery stores. And through this whole thing, I haven't really been paranoid at all. Like, the fear of it isn't getting to me. Today, walking through the grocery store, I found myself holding my breath whenever I was like forced to be super close to somebody. And when this group of little kids were coughing in the next aisle over, I didn't even go on that aisle. As much as I'd like to think that the media and everything's not like getting to me and I'm just being safe and cautious, it's really hard not to let it somehow get into your mind as it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So crazy to me right now because Keystone is closed down. Like I said earlier, actually all the mountains, all the resorts are closed down. But I'm standing here in the Honky Dory lot, which is right next to the gondola. There's nobody here. It's just dead. They haven't been grooming the runs. There's security over there to make sure nobody's skinning up. This place would normally be packed right now. Just packed. It's just like a ghost town. I had no script. I had no idea what I was actually filming in this video. So if it seems a little bit random and all over the place, that's why. I also started it with this contraption with a switch pod tripod, which is pretty cool because you can just do that and go from like a little tripod to a handheld, go around and, you know, vlog or do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to be doing a lot more basic videos mixed into these cooler edits because of the situation and how we are now. And what you're watching right now is actually the GoPro Max. It's a really, really cool camera. Expect to see some cool stuff on the mic was muted. I figured it out before you told me. Mic was muted. Hopefully the audio is okay now. Welcome everyone tonight to the live stream. I do not have an interview tonight, and I apologize for that. I might not have one for a little while. And the reason for that is because my life is upside down, like so upside down right now. It was so nice to have original Dobo out here. Ken come out and take a weekend to just sort of chill and do whatever before going full force. But as some of you guys know, The owners of the house that I live in are coming back and they're basically kicking us out. And that is happening everywhere up here, right? So I am looking for condos, houses, everything. I've been pre-approved. And the crazy thing is, owning a business, I've been pre-approved. I can afford a pretty expensive house up here. However, there's none to buy. And every single time I find one, a condo or a house, 12 other people put in a damn bid, and it leaves me completely in the dark because like I can't afford $1 million home. So I cannot do that. So that's where I'm at. I'm still looking. So as of now, if nothing happens and falls together by the end of this month, then I'm going to be searching hardcore for just a rental to just have somewhere to stay. And on top of everything, I might as well make the announcement. My girlfriend Gina is leaving me and going to California. That's right. You heard that right. So everything in my life is changing this summer. I'm going to try my damnedest to keep this channel up. I have lots of content already filmed, so I will be editing that. I have about 3 to 4 more videos of me and Dobo hanging out up here. Right now I'm doing the one with the Skydio 2 and the FPV drone, and we're just sort of flying around and following snowboarders, which is a blast. I've got another video of this crazy bridge and us doing FPV there. I've got one of me teaching him to snowboard. I've got one of me teaching Ed to snowboard. I've got so much stuff filmed already. I've got a GoPro Max versus the GoPro 9 snowboarding video already filmed. Just have to edit it. I've got one of the X2 versus the GoPro Max already filmed. Might need a couple little closing things, but already done. Yeah, Lauren, right? I appreciate that, everybody. It's just it's a lot of change. You'll be happy to know we're on great terms, at least for now. Everything's good. It's not like it's somebody else in the picture or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, she's not coming to you, Sam. Trust me, she's not coming to you. But it's a lot of change. Both the dogs are staying with me. I was thinking, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue. Yes, Lon, yes. That's yes. Next time you come up here, yes, that sounds good. So tonight, you know, I've got a replacement Tiny Hawk S. I've got the new 95XV3 that uses the SMO 4K. I've got a lot of drone stuff that I've still got to film for. I've got the 360 drone. I've got the DJI FPV, which is what I've been trying to make the time to fly mostly. I've slowed down on snowboarding, even though my new snowboard has come in, which the new video that I'm working on with Ken will show that in more detail. The reason I'm wearing this is because I thought it'd be sort of funny to see if you guys could get a sense of how small this room actually is, if I could fly that thing around. And this doesn't have anything to hold this right here. I could tuck it in maybe like this probably. Actually, yeah, that works. And yes, I will be focusing on YouTube and work once I get the house situation moved. The house situation is first, whether it's renting, buying, whatever. And then from there, once that's settled in, I will have all the time in the world. So you'll probably see this show at that point. You'll probably see me go more regular, like once a week at that point, instead of the first and third Mondays of the month. And we'll see if it stays on Mondays or we switch it to another day, or maybe during the day instead of nights. I don't know. We'll figure that out when the time comes. But it'll definitely be something I'll be looking to see you guys there in the chat so that we can talk about products, we can talk about life, and just everything that's going on. And when I'm talking about life, let me tell you, it is insane right now on the market, not just up here, but everywhere. I've been talking to real estate agents. I've been talking to lenders. I've been talking to people in cities all over. I've even looked in Florida to just see how much housing was out there. And it is so much cheaper out there than it is here. Yeah, I saw that they were splitting. I'm telling you, I know so many people, some of my really good old friends that have been married for 20 years are splitting up. I know lots of people splitting up, and they're not putting 2 and 2 together. I hate to blame a big part of this on the pandemic, because the pandemic, this is not from a virus and no one died, but the way the government handled crap, and I don't want to get too political, but our government's a joke. It's an absolute freaking joke, okay? And anybody who doesn't see that has never owned a business, in my opinion. However, I would if they were my employees, fired. All of them. Every single damn one of them fired with no pension. They get nothing. Anyways, I think them scaring the hell out of everybody, yes, Lon, exactly, has made a lot of people, like Gina, for example, works at home. I went back to work, so I had social talking and got to be around people, but we weren't allowed to have friends over. We weren't allowed to go do stuff. If you went and did stuff, they made you feel guilty. You couldn't have that socialization. People, whether you're a loner or not, are social. And I think it really messed up a lot of people's relationships. So that's what I think is happening to a lot of people right now. And that's why you're seeing like I bet you'll see a huge spike in numbers on divorces over the next couple of years, as well as suicides throughout this last year or so. So this is a Tiny Hawk S, to change the subject here. Some of you guys know what this is. I know Chris, Sunrise Water Media, has one of these, and they are a blast. I don't really like the digital, and I don't know how you could do this. I'm sorry, I don't like analog, and I don't know how you could do this with digital. Maybe you could. I haven't seen one for sale that works with the DJI goggles. But for playing around the house, these work great. So I thought it'd be sort of funny to take a minute and see if I could get it to fly here in the room. I'm going to turn this camera around. There we go. And it's armed. This room is so small. It's so small. So I don't know if you guys can see. I'm already at the wall. I'm under the table. I'm at my legs. I'm bouncing around under the table. I'm over a shoe, and I'm back up by the Pac-Man machine. And I'm by my face. Oh, that's my... That was a stupid idea. I just knocked over a drink. Didn't spill any like that. It's a very small space, and you would never be able to do anything like that with even the Tiny Hawk Freestyle or the anything with props exposed, really, because I just hit myself. Let's try it one more time. I do have some interesting news about a viral video. All right, we're armed. I'll tell you about that. Ow, wow. Okay, that was dumb. One more try. There we go. Now we're up. The dogs are at the door, freaking out. And we're flying around. There's nowhere to fly. Like, I'm all the way to the other side of the room. I'm just doing circles. There's nowhere to fly in my room. And you guys probably can't even see it. I just look like an idiot flying around like this. I wish I could tack this on and you guys could see. Oh, how cool would that be if I could somehow make this work live and you guys could see like this live. That would be pretty cool. Oh, can I do something? Let's see. I'm going to try this. Oh, almost caught it. That would have been cool. Okay. Anyways, let me unplug this stuff. There we go. Put these on so I can read your comments. As everyone calling me an idiot. I got to admit, I do really enjoy these little guys. When it's not windy outside, they are a lot of fun. Yeah. Matt, who's going to jump on? I'm so bored that I'm flying drones around on my show, right? Oh, all right. Work. Yes. Echo Hobbies. That's exactly the plan. I can pick up a couple hours extra a day at work, and I can open 6 days a week instead of 7, and I'll make a huge amount of extra money, which would be great because I am trying to buy a house. Lon, you said that's what you did after breakup. If you don't mind me asking, how long ago was that, and how are you feeling now? Let's see. If you spending too much COVID time together, no, I think Lauren, it's not necessarily too much COVID time together. From my point, for what happened to me, Lauren, is it wasn't too much time together because we're like best friends, and that's awesome, and we still are. But I didn't quite grasp how it was affecting her to be trapped at home when I was still out doing things like working and snowboarding. To me, I never really felt the effects of the lockdown. Like, I just kept living life. And I didn't understand it when other people did. And that's my fault for not being there and understanding. So that's, I think, a big part of it, as well as some other personal things with our different views on child raising. So I don't want to get too into that. But, and Pyro, yep, that's pretty much what I did. Hey, Doc, it's good to see you in the house. And yeah, Sunrise, mine does not get hot when I fly it. It doesn't, maybe get a tiny little warm, but it does not get hot. My Beta FPV is actually analog. It actually works with these goggles. There might have been a digital version, but I was not able to secure that, and this is what I got. So it's worked. I'll tell you what, though. This controller is actually much nicer and smoother than the DJI one that comes with the FPV drone. Not that that one's bad, but that one, as far as a video game style controller works, that is a pretty good controller. Rose, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. I should put some of these on screen so you guys know what I'm referring to if you're watching this on the re-watch. So yeah, there we go. That's where we're at. Who's going to jump? Matt? Yeah, is anyone going to jump on the show tonight? Do we got anybody that wants to jump on and talk about life, drones, YouTube, GoPros, whatever, actions? I need a SkyDroid to let us see it live. I've not heard of that, Chris, but it sounds interesting. There's nothing to really see in this room particularly, though. I would have to go somewhere else. Lon, I don't know if I've seen Lon ever jump on a live show. You are more than welcome to join, Lon, if you want to. Oh, Doc says he could put something together to put the FPV feed on the stream. Doc, when I get moved, you just had me think. I am putting a bid down on a house. The person already came back and said, oh, we're going to wait through the weekend and have another open house and see what other offers we get. So in other words, I'm going to get outbid. So this cute little house that's downtown Silverthorne that has views of the mountains and it's right by the skate park, that would make a great little beginner home for me to fix up and have a 2-car garage, which would give me plenty of room to do all my drone hobbies and stuff, is probably going to get way out of my price range. It's insane how much it's selling for in the first place. And once they put it on the market, there's no way. But yeah, Doc, what I was thinking, what my point was, is once I'm settled, you could if possible, the setup, and there's a window there. I was thinking in this particular house, if I do get it, I could open the window, put the FPV drone out the window and go flying around right there, or whatever drone, and then transmit it back inside the house to share on the feed live from the bedroom. That would be dope. I would totally do that. I think that would be cool. Lon says it's amazing how your life changes when you take off distractions and leashes. Yep, I will have nothing going on. So, yep, I'll have a lot of time. A lot of time. It's good to see everybody here tonight. We got 41 people in the chat, so we're definitely going to give some things away tonight. I've been trying to decide if we're going to do like maybe a drone landing pad or one of my T-shirts. Definitely some stickers. We always do stickers. I do have a couple other things. Doc, you never did get with me for that charger, so I do still have that charger if you do have a Mavic Original. And if not, again, tonight, if someone has Mavic Original, Dobo, I have no idea where he is, honestly. But I am editing a video with him. That's going to be a good one. So you guys stay tuned for that. It should only be another couple days before it's up. I'm a little slow on edits because I got a lot of stuff going on between YouTube, drawing for work, tattooing, and tearing this house apart and cleaning it up. I'm a pretty busy guy at the moment, even busier than normal. Lon has been on live. That's how we got to see his hat couch. That's nice. Okay. All right. Nobody's joined me yet in here. I don't see anybody in the green room. So right now it's basically just a bunch of crickets. Oh, and that didn't work at all. Just going to have those play in the background. Just a bunch of crickets. It's nice evening though. So the weather is warming up. The snow is melting away. The ski resorts are still open. Everything's pretty much closed but Breckenridge, Loveland, and A Basin. So I can still get out and I can still make some videos on the mountain showcasing some things, but only for about another month. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. I live stream on my Mavic Air 2 on YouTube, so only can a feed in wouldn't be too bad. I used to live stream quite a bit on my Mavic Zoom. The app changed. The Go4 app changed. I don't know if they ever put it back on, but for a while you could not. I would not be surprised if they put it back. All right, Doc, that's good. Just let me know. Hit me up, emails. And hey, Steve Carpenter, I have not seen you around in a while. It's good to see you. And RL Photography, good to see you here as well. Looks like the regular crew is here. What do we have to talk about? Osmo Action still, no permanent leaks on that. The Osmo Action 2, I'm sure it's coming soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sometime this summer. I've heard mixed things about the Mavic 3. Some people say it's dead. It's not going to happen, just like the Phantom 5 never happened. I don't think I believe that, though. I do think the Mavic 3 is still going to happen. What do you guys think? You guys still think the Mavic 3 is going to be an actual thing? Home Mountain usually stays open in May. Yeah, spring skiing, Cody, is awesome. A Basin will probably stay open into June. Loveland will close next Sunday. Breckenridge will stay open at least through May, I'm sure. I have also heard that it could be released this fall. New iPhones, new, what else did I hear about this fall? Possibly the GoPro Max 2. That is what I, believe it or not, I'm looking forward to that more than I am any new drones at the moment. Used that Insta360 last weekend on a hot air balloon ride. Results were awesome. Oh, nice, man. I'm glad you had good results with it. Was it the X2 or something else? Let's see. It might not be called the Mavic 3, though. Yeah, I would be really bummed if they dropped the Mavic name for the actual Mavic main line. I really would be. Hey, Ron, nice to see you in the chat. Nice, and good to see that the X2 is working out for you guys. I am making a couple more X2 videos. I am working on some instructional videos for that kind of stuff. I really did not have much of a show put together tonight, and if nobody joins in, we're going to probably call this a pretty short show tonight. Not yet, but it's definitely going to be on the shorter side. I didn't send out any kind of links except for what was in the chat here. So there it is in the chat if anybody wants to join. And Art, it's good to see you in here. Hopefully you're getting some practice on your FPV stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone's coming along on that. Matt, I'm surprised you haven't jumped in. Aren't you working on your YouTube channel? Come on, somebody who's building their channel, who wants to talk about YouTube, cameras, and all that gear, jump in real quick before we call this a night. I know we got a good amount of group. Let's give away. I want to give people time too. So, I need to. Oh, look who's joining in right there. It's not just me now. We can take the crickets off. What is up, Steve?
Hey, Sean. Long time no see, man.
Yeah, how's life been treating you?
Busy as hell at work.
I'll tell you what. It's interesting having to host a show by yourself the whole time. I did it last weekend. It's the first time I did it for a while because I've been doing the interviews. But it's been really hard with everything going on for me to focus and get something like that set up to do right now. So,
and with everything you have on your plate right now, that is amazing that you're still doing it.
Oh, it's amazing. I haven't. That's what's amazing. Oh my God. Yes. It's been. Let me see your mic real quick, Steve. Let's hear you.
Can you hear me? Test 1, 2.
You're a little quiet. I do hear you, but you are a little quiet.
Okay, let me gain up a little bit here. That's probably a little bit better.
That's a little. You're still a little quiet though. Let me turn off the batteries. I've been flying the S2. I just haven't had time to go outside, so I've been flying the little Tiny Hawk.
Oh, cool.
Draining some of these batteries that I have that are actually bloated. I got these bloated batteries that I keep wanting to go out and throw darts at and see if I can make them explode.
Is this any better now?
That's a little. You do sound quiet tonight, but okay. It's a little. As long as everybody in the chat can hear you okay, then I think we're all right.
Okay, look, I upped it up a little bit.
Okay. Hey, well, look, we got another person. We'll have two going at one time here. Wait, now we got a third. Okay. I don't want to get too many people in the chat at one time, so I'm going to put Lauren in, and we can have three of us going, and we can talk. Nice to meet you, Lauren.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Hello,
Have you met Steve before? I know it's a smaller community. However, I always don't know who knows who. So have you guys met before?
No, we haven't met. Like I'm from Canada.
Okay.
And but like you fly the pretty much the same type of stuff as I do. Like I'm in Calgary, so like I fly around the Rockies all the time as well.
Nice.
So
I would love to come up to Whistler one of these days.
oh yeah, well that's out on the coast though.
Yeah, that's the mountain I have to go to if I go to Canada.
Whistler's gorgeous, but it's been decades since I've been there. And but is in further. He's more eastern.
Nice.
There we go.
All right, so let me ask you guys. I know Steve, you used to ski and stuff. You don't anymore. So we'll keep the topic on drones because I think most of the people on the show tonight are more interested in drones than my snowboarding content. So what are you guys flying right now? Your go-to. Steve, you go first.
Two, my original Mavic Air Mavic Pro, because I can live
Mavic
stream
Pro
with that.
2.
Yeah, no Pro.
Oh, the original Mavic Pro still?
Oh yeah. I had that.
Well, here's the deal. The original Mavic Pro. If you don't claim that charger this week, and give me an address to send it to you, then Steve, do you have one of those chargers that charges all 3 batteries at the same time?
Yes, I do.
Never mind. I was about to threaten you, Doc, but he already has one. So that's
Come on, don't threaten Chris.
All right, Lauren, what is your go-to drone?
I don't have a go-to drone because I've got it. Well, until last week, I had 8 different drones. So probably the ones that I use the most is either my 2 Pro or the Mini. I could see the Mini being a go-to up in Canada because of all the regulations you guys have with weight and everything. Yeah. I thought the 2S was going to be my go-to drone, but I still find that I much prefer my 2 Pro.
Nice.
Having that adjustable aperture, to me, that's everything, because like I'm principally a photographer, not a videographer like most guys. So having that aperture, yeah, it's a selling point for me. So,
and I agree. If you're a photography guy, the aperture is everything. If you're a video guy, not so much.
Yeah. Well, actually, even when I do video, like you've seen one of my videos there not too long ago, but when I do use video, I use the aperture to help maintain the 180 rule. Mm-hmm. Because like you put on your ND filters, but that can change in a heartbeat if you all of a sudden change directions, but you can compensate by using your aperture, right?
True. So you're going to be shocked that 99% of the content I use, I don't put on ND filters, and I film in auto so that I can just focus on the story.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. I know it's not the pro way to do it, but when you're busting out content and the majority of people are watching it on YouTube, and I'm not doing this for anyone for sale, right? I don't sell my work to anyone. Although I did just recently get contacted. Oh crap! I was supposed to call this guy tonight about I'm so scatterbrained right now in life. This guy contacted me about he's doing some kind of search and rescue documentary in the mountains, and was curious if I could get him some footage. And so I think I might just volunteer my time and just do it just to help people. Yeah. I think that would be pretty cool.
That would be very cool. Giving back.
And Matt, I agree. Nothing wrong with auto at all.
No.
You can get some blown out things here and there, so it just depends. Most people always think I use ND filters and do all that stuff because the way I put it together, it still looks like I do. Any shot that looks blown out, I just don't use.
Realistically, it's the end result that matters.
Exactly.
If it looks good, then it doesn't matter how you did it.
And remember, if you have a variable aperture camera and you put it in auto, it's going to use all that aperture available versus a fixed aperture. So if you've got that, that's one of the reasons I didn't buy the Air 2, because my other drone which I use a lot, is the Mavic Air 2, not the S. If the S would have had a adjustable aperture, I'd have bought it in a heartbeat.
Well, maybe let me bring one more guest in here with us. We can do up to 4, and I don't think it's 2. So you guys might know Ron. He's in a lot of the chats here and there. Yeah. There you go. So we'll do this for a little bit, and we'll dwindle. And if anybody else wants to rotate through, we'll do that for a little bit before we call it a night. This is a first for me. I don't usually have open things like this, so I appreciate you guys jumping in like this. Speaking of, oh my gosh, we might have to have one more on because I see somebody who I've never seen come on. Give it a minute. We'll rotate out in just a minute, okay?
Yeah.
So here's a question, and I bet you I'm going to bring him on right now. You guys all know.
Are you using StreamYard?
I am. I just don't like to get too many people on at once, Steve, because then it becomes very hard to talk over everybody starts talking over each other. But Lon, it's good to see you on here. I love how your hat just washes right into your background.
Yeah, I know. I was going to adjust my lights, but it was too late.
Don't sweat it, dude. Don't sweat
it. You're hot, Lon.
Yeah, my lights are too high.
All right, you guys who are more nerdy into the tech side of stuff than I am, answer me this. On something like the S2 with a fixed aperture, we can't adjust it, right? Why can't they just make it so that in auto, isn't it still capable of moving around on its own?
Mm-hmm.
So does fixed aperture mean in auto on the S2, the aperture is fixed at a certain point, isn't it?
Yeah. What is it? 2.4, I believe it is on that.
So why can't, if they want to do that, why couldn't they just have it locked and do like Tesla and we pay extra to get it unlocked?
Well, you're talking a whole different camera then, and that adds quite a bit of weight. Because as soon as you start dealing with a variable aperture, you've got to have a mechanism that goes like this, and then something that controls that, right?
Yeah.
So.
And Lauren and Ron can both address that because Ron used to be professional photographer, so he's really adept with it. And when you have my knowledge, what I have with the cameras is you learn the triangle. You learn it. You learn ISO, aperture, and what's the third one? Duh, I'm doing a blank. Thank you, Ron.
Shutter speed, ISO, and aperture.
Yeah.
ISO, yeah.
And you learn that. But having the adjustable aperture means that, I know Ron flies the Mavic 2 Pro, which has the adjustable aperture. And with that, if he puts it in automatic, it can go all the way down to the open, and it will open that aperture all the way up, or, in dark conditions. But then when he gets into bright conditions, it's going to throttle it down automatically.
All right. Look at that. Look at that. Lon, I didn't know you snowboard.
Heck yeah.
Dude, next winter you got to come out.
Heel side carbon fiber, baby. Nothing but the best for this kid.
Right now we got Dobo is going to try to come out next winter. Ed Ricker, Kelly. I think Billy's going to come out next winter to go snowboard and ski. So what we want to try to do is get enough of us that we can rent an Airbnb that's in one of these badass mansions right on the resort, and everybody pitch in, and we'll just stay 3 or 4 days right there making videos and snowboarding. It'll be so much fun.
Yep. Got heel side carbon fiber.
Nice.
Do this.
I like the blue edges on those. Did you see the video that? Did you see the board that I designed that Ken showed on one of his videos? Yeah,
I've seen it.
I've got my video that should be out in a day or two. I've just got to finish the edits. I've been having a hard time with extra time, but I'm going to show it in a lot closer than the one I'm editing.
Hey, Sean, I got a question for you. Any of the video guys, anybody in the chat? I just bought a new video camera and love every single bit of it except for one thing. So my question to you guys, will you see the difference? It's not 10-bit color, it's only 8-bit. Is that a big difference in anything that you guys see?
Okay, so in my opinion, and I might be the only one out here like this, I'm also someone who doesn't give two shits about 4K. So if you're a person that cares about that kind of stuff, you're going to want to ignore everything I'm about to say. If you're using it mostly for YouTube, that kind of stuff truly doesn't matter. Just like Lauren just said a moment ago, your end result is what matters. How you get there doesn't really matter.
Right.
Now I am adjusting some 10-bit footage that Ken left me on the Air 2S, and I have a lot with the regular Air 2. And honestly, what I'm doing with it, I don't really notice a huge difference. So I wouldn't sweat it too much. But one of these, I bet you every one of these guys has a totally different opinion than me.
Well, as a photographer, you know, and you are as well, Ron. Like I can notice the subtle differences when I'm editing and stuff like that between 8 and 10-bit. Now, when you throw that onto YouTube, you're not going to see a bit of difference,
Right?
because YouTube just squashes the hell out of the quality. You know,
even if you upload it as 4K on YouTube, it's still getting squashed to some degree. Facebook is even worse. If you guys might not know this, but I actually went to college for photography. That's what I was doing, graphic design and photography, before I dropped out to move to California and become a tattoo artist. Parents were pissed about that, but that's a different story. However, it depends, Ron. If you're like Lauren was saying, it depends on what your use is. If you're planning to do photography and do large metal prints, you will see a difference. Even people on YouTube who watch on a large TV see a big difference in my videos at 1080 versus someone at 4K.
Right.
Yeah, just basically throw my 2 cents in. People ask me why I always care about video quality or whatever. But the bottom line for me is, who are you filming for? Okay? If you're filming for YouTube, then Sean is exactly right. Okay? Maybe Lauren's right. I film for me, you know, and I'm watching it on a big screen, and I want the best quality possible. You know what I mean? And the 10-bit color, if you do a lot of editing, then you're going to care about 10-bit color. If you're throwing it around in auto all the time, then no, who cares about 10-bit color? 10-bit color comes into play in the editing process, in my opinion. It allows you to push the colors around more.
I agree 200% with Lon.
Yeah, so if you're going to just be filming in auto all the time, then who cares? You know what I mean?
And it's another thing I just want to throw in there is, like, realistically, do you need to video in 4K? I do myself, and that's only the biggest reason is future-proofing that video, right? Because although most people probably watch in 1080, in 5 years, if I want to use that video, you know, or a bit of a clip, then 4K might be the norm then, right? So that basically I'm future-proofing that video by shooting in as high a resolution as possible.
So I have a counter to that, because I still watch a lot of little crappy videos on YouTube, as well as VHS quality videos all the time. And we are way past VHS quality. So as long as your audio kills it, Ron, your video can suffer.
Right.
Your video cannot be as good as your audio. Your audio is more important than your video for YouTube, at least.
That's the next toy I got to get for it. Man, I had some sticker shock too. The audio, you know, the remote audio for it comes with it. It was almost $900. I'm like, holy cow! But I think I'm going to get something like a Rode, you know, one of those wireless mics. I used one of them. Matter of fact, Rick Halber lent it to me one time, and I used it for a gig, and it really, really worked well.
Oh, the big question now, Ron, is what is the point? What are you using it for? Just like Lon said, it's really going to come down to that.
Right. Right now, it is a lot. It's going to, vast majority is going to be for YouTube. But I, over the last couple of weeks, I've been getting involved with some people that may lead me into something professional from a video and picture standpoint.
Well, Ron, for your wireless mic stuff, I've used both the Rhodes and the Synco, which is basically a Rode knockoff. And I bought the Synco for myself, and it's a 2 transmitter to 1 receiver setup. And the only thing that we found, Chris Sunrise Water, came across it as well, is that the mics are very hot, and you have to do a good audio test first to make sure you check it and set it and make sure it's at the right levels. Save that, it works just as good as the Rhodes, and they're half the price.
Really?
You know, another good one is Comica puts out a good one at a fair price. Ron, I'll get you offline. I'll ship you the one I've got and try it out and see if you like it.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Use it, because I'm not. It's just sitting here right now, so it's not doing me any good. So I'd I'll loan it to you, try it out, test it for, a couple months and find out if you like it.
I tell you, that's one of the things. What just happened right here, you guys in the chat, that right there is the coolest thing about this community. Like, people just help each other with stuff, right? It's really cool.
Yeah.
Why do you need wireless?
I don't know.
Why do you need wireless? Why wireless?
I don't know if any of you saw, but we have a mentor for that, and that was Rick Helver.
Yeah.
And they had the service today. I don't know if you saw it or not. If you allow me to, I'll post the link in there. You can go back and watch.
Of course, anybody can post any links in the chat. That's fine.
And,
Mel live streamed the service.
Yeah. And
so,
it went on for a live stream, and the family opened it up to where everybody could be able to watch the service. And what we're hoping for is they're going to do the same thing this coming Saturday when they have like a memorial thing at the home.
Okay.
Nice. So Lon was actually bringing up a good point. He was, if I'm not mistaken, Lon, you were asking him why do you need to go straight to wireless? Why couldn't you do some kind of wired? And keep in mind, not only the stuff you see pushed towards YouTube like Rode, but there's all the stuff you can find at Guitar Center, like Sennheiser and a whole bunch of other like vocal mics. Like, this is a vocal mic. This is not a YouTube mic. This is
guys, you don't even have to spend a lot if you don't need wireless. This is
That's
a
true.
$20 desk mic, and it works amazing.
Yep.
Well, the one job I've used for last year, I said, boy, if Rick wouldn't have, my one Sony camera, I know the audio wouldn't have picked it up, but he lent it to me, and I was filming it was like a renewal wedding vows, but where I was standing and where they were at, we were a good 15 feet apart. And without those wireless transmitters, I don't think I got, the good audio that I did.
So another thing I do, let me show you.
Ron, just so you know, I actually run a live stream 3 times a week, and we use the Rhodes, mainly. And the speakers from the receivers are about 75 feet apart, and they work great. I've used the Synco in the exact same scenario because we needed more than the 2 wireless Rhodes we had. And we put the Syncos on. I adjusted the levels so that they weren't too hot, and they worked absolutely flawlessly right alongside the Rhodes. And they're on all 4 transmitters were on 2.4 gigahertz. So all I had to do is I separated the receivers to where I had the 2 Rhodes about 8 feet apart, and then I had the Synco receiver in the center because it received the 2 transmitters. So,
Doc, you have some kind of echo or something going on too, just so you know.
Really? I got an echo?
I was hearing one. It seems to be coming and going. So this is a task cam, right? This is another thing meant for the music industry. Works killer. If you have to be out, Ron, and you're out filming and you need something wireless, you put in, this is like a $20 lavalier mic. It's cheap as hell. I plug it into this, pop that in the shirt, put this in my pocket, film, clap so that they sync together, and then I can edit that to the video, which is going to get a very faint audio from a distance. And if you ever watch a video where I'm like far from the camera, but the audio is crystal clear,
right?
That's what I'm doing.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a H1N video recorder or audio recorder as well, should I need to do something like that without a wireless. So
yeah, and it's just a matter of syncing it up. And what I used to do, Ron, for my YouTube videos, I didn't realize that you could actually auto sync audio like that. So I would watch my mouth and move it over and move it over. Oh, it was horrible, man. It would take all day. Grumpy says that everybody's echoing. That I'm not sure about. Why would
I was hearing a little bit too, but I couldn't tell if it was me or not.
You know what? Everybody mute their mic for just a moment. Let's see. I'll start.
Okay.
So muting your mic is you see, okay, I can mute everybody too. All right, so we got Lon and I have our mics unmuted. So so far, how's Lon's voice? Is he echoing with me or are we not echoing?
Check.
So most likely what the problem is we'll find out who it is, but somebody's speaker from their computer is too loud and it's picking back up in their mic. All right, so Lon seems to be good here. Doc is back in. Let's check Doc's.
Okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, I'm not hearing any echo on yours, Doc.
Okay.
So
I can
guess
still
we'll
hear
bring
it
you
coming
in,
through when
Steve.
you speak.
Steve, you want to come back in?
Yeah, it's either you, Sean, or Lon, because I was hearing it.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
same
I'm
here.
gonna mute my own
It
mic.
could be me because I was in a hurry to throw this together. I turned my computer on and stuff, so I got my camera forward of my speakers. My speakers are behind the camera, so it could be me. I
Oh,
turned the
yeah, it's
volume
probably
way
picking
down.
it up.
I'm hoping that took care of it, but
Hey, Bill's in the house tonight.
Go ahead and talk again, Lon.
Metro
Check,
Drones,
check,
thank you so much
check.
for the $10 super chat.
That's
check.
good.
Your modulation line's pretty loud.
It's hot.
Mine's good.
It's loud.
It's
Oh,
hot.
loud. Yeah, it's only like 3 feet from my face. I might have something to do with it. I can talk quieter. How's that? Is that better?
Okay.
Yeah,
Most
didn't
people
echo
in the
that
chat
time.
saying that they're not hearing the echo anymore, so we'll just move forward.
I think we got it.
All right. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been trying to mess around more with the FPV stuff. Time is so limited.
Oh, I
That's-
wanted to get to that, Sean. I mentioned that I could make it to where you can bring the FPV feed into the stream.
Yeah, that
All
is
that's
interesting to
required
me.
is a separate receiver like this. This one's only a single band one, but they have ones that do all 48 channels, and an adapter that takes your analog output from the receiver, converts it to USB like a webcam, and
Okay,
you plug
so-
it directly in, and then you select it like it's a camera.
So then we could not do that with the DJI FPV drone then.
No, you can do it with everything but that.
What a bummer. Because that's
Yep.
the one that I could take off out the window and go real
I know.
far away and come back.
Yep.
What about something like the Mavic or the Air 2?
As long as you can get an HDMI output from it, yes, you can run it through a cam link and run it right into your computer.
Because what about putting like a little Fat Shark camera on there or some kind of little camera?
But yeah, that's what this is for. If you do a little analog FPV camera, this would do it.
Yeah, because then I could fly it normal, and the FPV camera would just be to put a feed out for people, right?
Yes,
Although I'd
correct.
be limited on speed.
Or range is
Yeah,
what
that's
it would
what I meant.
receive.
Range, not
Yeah,
speed. I don't know why I said speed.
yeah, but you can do it. I did it when I first started. I didn't have a set of goggles, so what I did was I put the receiver on the back of a monitor and plugged it directly into the a full TV, and used that as basically my goggle, and it worked just fine.
Now I want to talking about FPV. I talked to Ken about this some because Ken does not have a history of RC prior to drones.
Nope.
I don't know if you guys know, but I do. I used to fly airplanes. I used to fly combat gliders, and I was super, super into Nitro racing A-scale cars. Like
I don't think
huge
a lot
into
of
that.
people realize Ken has not been flying FPV more than 8 months.
No, he's been flying for a year now.
Has it been a year now?
Yep, we talked about it.
Okay,
Yep.
it's been a year
It's
now.
been just
Okay.
over a year.
Yep.
And to me, FPV reminds me more of racing RC cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not quite what I'm doing with it because I'm using it different than how Ken does it. Ken does more acrobatics.
Mhm.
I'm learning more like swooping big dives and big swooping turns and things like that. I'm not worried about flips so much as I am getting that just almost like a roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
Lon, let me ask you, Lon, what do you do? What is your goal with FPV? I know you got the DJI FPV. Did you get any other FPV stuff or just that?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably just stick with the DJI FPV. I never really had a desire to get into FPV. I flew FPV way, 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 way back in the day when it first came around, and the analog was kicking me in the nuts. I hated it. The dropouts, just the bad signal. I was building camera drones when they first came out, when you couldn't buy them off the shelf. And then I got the paired AR drone, was my first ready-to-fly drone back in 2013 or something like that. Before that, I was building camera drones where you just threw a camera on it and you flew it around and let's see what we get. You know what I mean? That's the kind of drones I started flying when I was first flying. And I just hated it. I hated the goggles. I hated everything about it.
Yeah, I agree. And this little setup reminds me exactly of when I first put on some Fat Sharks. It was probably like, I don't know, at least 7 or 8 years ago. And we just put a little mounted camera on the top of, I think it might have been like a Phantom 1 or 2. I can't remember. And went out, and the breakup was so, I just had no fun. It was no fun to me.
See, a lot of that has to do with either power output or the antennas.
Back then, though, like the static was just, it was so much more than, and I'm sure
absolutely.
it was crappy antennas. You know, we were just getting into it. We didn't know anything. And Sam, I got to say, so if you were racing A scale in 1998, then you, sir, must have been racing at the Dirt. What's his name's track out in California? Amazing track builder, that guy.
Yeah, there was a few tracks out there in the 90s.
Oh, man. Yeah. So there was Revelation Raceway. I used to go there myself because I was actually living there and going to Revelation in 97, 98 quite a bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't racing at the time. I was what was called a basher, where you just sort of, if you guys know what that term means for RC cars.
Because that's what I did.
You build your shelf queen. I think I got the HPI, what was it? The Savage, I think it was the big monster truck. You guys remember that one? And then you replace all the pieces with all the blinged out aluminum and everything. And you get all the crazy stuff. And then some people would just put that up and make like a shelf queen. And I would bash mine. I would go crazy with the thing. I wouldn't care. But I wish I still had that truck. That truck was crazy. I had so many of them. I was just as obsessed with those as I was the drones. And I tell you, if I get this house that has the 2-car garage and the space, it's got this like land behind it that's not mine, wouldn't be mine, but it's like open fields for hiking and stuff. I could probably see that the cars would probably make a comeback.
I actually raced the old Team Associated RC10 for about a year and a half.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, when I was in elementary, there was a car called the Bulldog. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a 4-wheel steering car, and it was 4-wheel drive. And there was also the Hornet.
The Hornet's familiar.
Yeah. It was right around the same time as the Associated RC10. The Hornet was its big competitor.
Yeah, the other one was was the Radiant was the other one.
That one I don't recall. But
yeah, that one was a 4-wheel drive one.
Yeah, so might have been a competitor to the Bulldog, but I wanted one so bad. But yeah, I was in like probably 3rd to 5th grade. I can't remember when. The Grasshopper Metro. I remember the Grasshopper.
Oh my Lord! Remember that
one. And I begged my dad for one of the Hornets. Right, I wanted the Hornet or the Bulldog so bad. He bought me some cheap little Target Tyco car, and I was like, really? This doesn't do nothing. And my friends are whiz.
Yeah.
Like, chink.
I had one of those Grasshoppers.
Buy my own crap. I bought them all.
Yeah. I had one of those Grasshoppers. I pulled the body off it, took a piece of Lexan, put a curved top on it, painted it, put some googly eyes on the front. Man, it was a pill bug, man. It was just a lot. It was just a hoot.
I don't know if you guys know, but when I was into the RC, I started painting RC. You guys know I do art for a living, so I started painting the lids, and I started painting lids for pro riders. I started designing cars for Cody King, who was the champion for a while. I can actually share if you guys want to get a laugh. I can show you some of my old paint jobs. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, the way you do now, I'm not surprised they wouldn't look anywhere as bad as anything you've ever done.
Yeah,
you paint all that stuff.
Design is awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's see. Let me see if I can.
I never could figure out how to do that.
So this was my own personal design here. That's why it was called Team Nemo, and you can see it sort of changed, and that was the logo for the Team Nemo.
Nice.
And let's see what else we got. We can see, and then you do sort of like traditional kind of looking RC kind of paint jobs like this. That was a pretty common one, something like that. Yep. You get a little more fancy with stuff like this, but it's still sort of common.
You do a lot of airbrushing, Sean?
Yeah, I airbrushed. I went from RC cars to airbrushing motorcycles.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, got a bunch of trophies for airbrushing motorcycles. That was sort of fun time period. So this was Cody King. If you guys know who he was, this was his original paint scheme. And then it transformed into this. And then the guy went out and became pro. And when he became pro, he got a version of that paint scheme done with the ready to run kit and never even sent me a damn kit or any money or nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. I think so.
Welcome to the world of RC cars.
So, I got crazier and crazier with them. That's like based off of Venom, if you guys know
Venom,
Spider-Man, yeah. And I think I did a Spider-Man for the same guy, right there. And that's all painted backwards. So if you painted this on the outside, you can get so much more detailed. It's really hard to get like this kind of stuff painted backwards. Like that's painted
you have
on the
to start
inside.
with the fine detail outlines and things first, and then add the colors behind it.
Yep. So on something like this, all the outlines of the skull were done, and the white highlights, and then it goes from there.
Wow.
And the coolest thing is that you couldn't get, no one wanted to pay you shit for, this is the old, right there. That's my old HPI Savage right there. That was the thing right there. Love that thing. Anyways, you couldn't get anybody to pay you more than $60 to $100 for a paint job because they get destroyed anyways. You put in like 5 to 10 hours on those things on the more complex ones, so you weren't getting crap. However, you'd start painting for the RC magazines, and you paint for the guys who drive, who get tires and things sent to them, like Proline would just send them stuff, and they'd turn around and just give you boxfuls of tires. So you'd make your money on it, but not money. So
yeah,
I have a box full of tires that I can't do anything with now.
You still
RC,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ron.
I was saying, Sean, do you still have your equipment to work, do paint on motorcycles at all?
I still have all my airbrush stuff, yes. And I still paint when time allows. I've been really craving to get back into it and try to make time for it. But just timing. What's your point, Steve? Echo?
The two of you get together. He doesn't live too far from you.
I'm only about 5 hours worth of you.
Gotcha. I did see, what did I see? Somebody just said something. He has Dustin has his old OFNA 1/8. I still have the OFNA.
Wow.
Oh, what the hell is it called? It's the last racing A-scale buggy that I think they made. And I can't remember which one it was, but I have it at my mom's house in storage. I don't even remember how to start it with the Nitro engines. It's been so long. The little glow plugs, you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, you got to remember, I started with Nitro planes and then Nitro helicopters. So
I did Nitro planes before I did the Nitro cars.
Yeah. I mean, the first helicopter I actually bought for myself was a Sluter Heliboy. It was a big 60 size, 0.6 cubic inch Nitro engine helicopter. It had a 69-inch rotor on it. It was huge.
Wow.
69 inch?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Holy crap.
Yeah. That was a big helicopter.
Obviously.
Mine wasn't that big. I had a gas-powered helicopter back in the 80s, and it was murder to fly. Murder. There was no help. It was like flying a real helicopter. It was like flying a real helicopter. You want to talk about a learning curve, dude?
Yes, sir.
You celebrated just getting it off the ground. You're like, yay!
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you think we have crash repair bills now. Dude, trying to learn how to fly a Nitro helicopter back then, you might as well just been prepared to spend literally a couple $100 a week, for a short time until you got where you weren't tearing stuff up as often. So
I used to have a friend that did the what was it called? Not 3D helicopter flying or something like that, where you do all the upside down flip flop stuff.
Oh yeah.
And that blade, I tell you, I'd stand way back.
Yeah, they spin pretty quick.
I was just waiting for someone to just right in the neck,
Well, I've crashed I've crashed that big one a couple times, and there was one time I had servos fail, and I had that thing come right down in front of me, pass right in front, go up and stall, and down it went on the side, and freaking spit parts everywhere. Just turned into an instant Cuisinart.
I bet. I don't know if you've heard this story. You probably have. I tell the same stories again and again because I can never remember if I told the story. My memory sucks. So I was flying some plane, Nitro plane, years ago at some park that was off of Warner and a little outside of Huntington Beach years ago. They had some park where you could fly. I forget the club name. It's still around.
Mile Square.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
Miles Square Park.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And you
Yeah.
used to be able to fly there, and I don't. You might still be able to. I don't know.
Yeah, it's still there.
And
Yep.
it always weird to me because I always thought if I lost sight of it or control, it would fly out over the roads and just.
Oh yeah,
I wonder if that's ever really actually happened. But
it
so I
has.
learned how I was able to do barrels, loops, all that kind of stuff. Even with the trainer, it would do them, not gracefully, but I remember my friend Scott. He finally built his because you had to build them back then.
That's
you
right.
Couldn't just put them together easily. They had some kits that were sort of put together a little bit, but you still had a lot to build. He got
Yeah,
it
they
all
were
built.
called ARFs back then. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Almost ready to fly. That's right.
That's right.
And he gets it up in the air. We've got no, we didn't have a trainer wire. We didn't have two remotes. So he would hand it to me and took off. I'm flying. I hand it to him. And all of a sudden it just stopped responding. And it's like spiraling. And he's handing me the remote. Save it, Sean, save it. He drops on his knees and the thing is just spiraling down all the way down. Hits the ground. The wings just go and it just compresses in a big poof of cloud smoke
Yes.
in the dirt. And the best we could ever figure was that either something came unplugged while it was flying or it just went dead stick. But can you imagine something like that happening just out over the road, just a little bit further, poof, right in the middle of the road? And that's the worry everyone has now, because back when we flew then, it was a much smaller amount of us that flew.
Well, one
Drones
other thing
changed
about
it.
those back then too was they didn't have any stabilization.
No.
They didn't have no auto levels. So whatever position it locked in, that's where it stayed until it hit the ground.
Yeah.
Where now you buy these aircraft that have got those little boards in them that have those semi-auto pilots in them. And if you lose radio signal, either if you forget to set the fail-safe, that's the key thing, is if you forget to set it, it will hold that level and just keep flying in a straight line until it runs out of power or fuel, and then come down who knows where, miles away. But if they're set to fail-safe, then they shut down. Well, we didn't have that back then, but if you got unlucky and had one that flew really good level and you were level when it quit working, it could potentially fly for miles.
Hey, Doc.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc, some of the new ones I've heard, I haven't seen this, that they'll go to level and it'll turn. So the plane will just fly in circles.
In a circle.
It'll just fly in circles until you get to it and reestablish connection.
Or it runs out of power, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it runs out of power.
One of the things the two of you forgot is Miles Square Park is exactly what it is. It's a park and it's a mile square. And you have major roads on each side. So when you're talking about going out,
That's what I'm talking about.
You're over roadways.
Oh yeah, you were flying over major city area.
I would not be surprised if someone at some point has done that,
It
especially
has.
back in the day.
It has
Because
happened.
it was almost us. So if I can do it, someone else can do it.
Still to this day, they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. There used to be an RC car track there. They got rid of that right around the time I got into planes. So we didn't actually we were bashing cars, flying planes.
Yeah.
And when I moved away from California to Texas, I knew no one. So I just went to a track, and next thing you know, I was racing and just going. I was super into it. And if you've never done an hour-long race with an 8th scale buggy, Nitro, with a pit guy that picks your car up, refills it, and sends you back out for an hour, that is fun. That is so much fun.
Yep.
And that is what the FPV stuff gives me a little glimmer of.
Yep. That is true.
Hey, Doc, quick question for you.
Yeah, sure.
If you think someone, I said, if you have a pretty good knowledge background of how to fly a real helicopter, do you think one could pick up the RC side of things fairly quick, or?
Yes, as far as a helicopter is concerned.
Right.
As far as a quadcopter, even more so because they're more stable.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, my background was with fixed wing and helicopter. So when I built my first quad, I literally built it from scratch. I mean, I built it out of wood. As a matter of fact, I still have it. This was my very first one. And I did it with 6-inch props, 2300 kV motors, with a 3S battery, and put it up with a KK2 mini board, for the flight controller. And I flew this thing for a year. You know, I broke it multiple times learning how to fly it, but I was able to get it up, hold the hover, set it down, adjust the PIDs until it was stable. Then I was
I'm glad you could still get it up. That's good to know.
Yeah. I was able to fly it around line of sight, so I knew I had full control of it, you know, as far as which way it goes, what the functions were, because they're identical to a helicopter. So
Right.
what was different was when I went under the goggles. That's when it changed. And that's when you have to get used to that new sight picture. And that's what it's all about, is the sight picture at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get the two together, and it doesn't take that long if you've got some experience, you know, with
Right.
flying like you do. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
it wouldn't take you long to go from do a quick line of sight, make sure you know how to control it, to actually flying at FPV.
Right.
So I got a comment, Steve Herring, and now I know why the name sounded familiar. He mentions Area 51 track with hour-long races, and that is actually what I was referring to. Is there was quite a few tracks in Houston, and this guy named Harl, who became a friend of mine, and he created a track he had all this land, and he did construction and stuff. So he had a bulldozer, and he made
Nice.
almost a BMX style size, small motocross style track for RC cars.
Wow.
And I remember I was so into it because I just come from California where we had bigger features, and every track in Houston was making all these little 10 scale jumps. They were like this. So
Yeah.
with 8 scales, you'd hit them and you're already in the air, and then your back would hit. And so you would have these crappy jumps. So he was making these massive jumps so you could compress and then launch and just fly off the top. So I was all about, like, at the time I was single. Like you were saying, Lon, you get all this time when you're single to do all this stuff. So I was just putting all my time into that and helping this guy put this track together. And to this day, some of the guys that we race to are still on Facebook, still get in touch with, and some of them it's just like the RC and this. It's amazing the connections you can make through playing with RC cars and boats and planes and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
And speaking of planes, you were talking about planes with self-leveling.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I flew a plane was actually right before I moved here, if I'm not mistaken. I was going to buy one off of a guy who lived next door to me, and it was a brand new one, Horizon Hobbies. And I did not crash it, Steve, if that's what you're laughing for.
No. I'm sorry. I was just laughing at Chris's post up here in the chat. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't see it yet. Chris Hope or someone else?
Not me.
Chris, Doc is his first name is Chris. And they're talking about ages in the chat. Well, this has been going on.
I see.
How long people have been into it. And it was just going, because I posted up there, I go, gee whiz, Chris, you're younger than my son is.
Talking about sunrise.
It's funny because we do have a lot of different generations of
Yes.
people that are into it. We've got the older gentlemen like yourself, your mid-range guys like I like to call myself, but I'm getting there. And then the younger chaps like Chris in the chat, Sunrise and Matt and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then when we go to these events, there's even younger guys there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see more girls going into it. I don't see that many girls in drones. I think I saw more girls involved in RC cars than I did drones.
Mama's in now. She even told me after we got the hotel, she said, I now feel part of the group.
Nice.
Oh, really?
That's good.
Yes.
Good for her.
Yeah,
Good for
she said
her.
she now feels part of the group. So, because she's been doing the flying. I've just been standing there and making sure she doesn't crash it, But
So I hope to still do a video with Gina.
mhm.
I was telling her about the motion controller for the FPV, the what I call the dodo stick.
yeah, it's the joystick.
Yeah, there you go, the and that actually seemed interesting to her for the first time ever with any of this hobby stuff with RC. And I went out and flew it and test flew it. I haven't made a video with it yet. I've been so busy. But I got to tell you, it sucks to fly in the mountains, right? However, if you're on a flat field or something more flat, it's actually a lot of fun. It just can't, you really need manual if you're going to do anything with that steep pitch of a mountain.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
even in sports mode and things like that, it doesn't
only
go
so
up and
much you
down
can do.
fast enough. Yeah.
Yeah, like you and Ken were doing here this last week.
Yeah.
You know, that was some awesome footage that you guys had.
Yeah,
And
that's actually.
Ron, just real quick, Ron, check the private chat and then check your text. I sent you something.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, just as a side note on that, as far as the ladies being in it, Sean, Mama and I are going to be out there the week of the 21st through the 26th of June. So I'm going to try and make a point to come up and visit you either the weekend before the 21st or after the 26th.
That might be the perfect timing to give you some boxes and help me move.
Well, and I'll bring my truck.
We'll see. It depends on which way we go. If I'm buying, it might be later. If I'm renting, then sometime in June I need to be out.
Okay. Well, yeah, keep me posted on that then, because if
I
need
will.
be, I've got a trailer I can bring to help. So
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
yeah, just let me know.
If it's the place with the garage, we'll set it up and we'll break out those wings I have and see if we can make a list of what I need to buy to finally make them digital, so I can fly them digital.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I've been
Flying
looking
it
at all.
digital is going to be fun.
Oh yeah, can you imagine a long range wing up here? It'd be so much fun
Well,
because
think
you
about
can
it,
catch
all right?
a thermal somewhere, right? And
Well,
just
the
turn off the
most
prop.
Highest
and glide.
performance 5-inch. You get 3 minutes of flight time on 4 motors, right? So if you take 3 motors away, you just tripled at least your flight time.
Yeah. Plus, these wings are gliders. They're
Right.
100%. You don't need the prop to fly. If you can
Right.
catch a thermal or just
That's
get up
right.
high, we used to take a rubber band, pull them back, let them go,
Yep.
and you could fly for like an hour
Oh, absolutely.
with no props. So then you throw one with a prop, and then you would just turn it on just to be able to get up to the thermals, unless you're doing combat. If you have ever
Oh,
seen
yes, I have
proper
done
combat
combat.
gliders, the whole point is to hit these things in the air and try to knock your person
Oh,
out.
no. No, not gliders.
No,
We did it
that's
with
what you
power
do.
planes.
Combat gliders.
We did it
Hit
with
each other.
combat power planes, Nitro.
Well, I don't know about that. So the point with these is they're the EPP foam, and most you'd have like 20 of them in the air at once in Long Beach.
Oh,
Steve, you've probably been to Long Beach. So if you're ever in Long Beach, I don't know if they still fly there. There's a spot right on the beach, and you get this wing coming off the ocean, and it hits this little cliff,
Yeah.
and it makes this updraft right there, and everyone just throws them out. And the whole point is to try to hit each other. You'll have 20 of them in the air at the same time, and you try to knock each other out of the sky. These have no
Steve, do you
props.
know if that's still there?
We have 3 areas, actually one real close to where I've shot when I fly around at work in Laguna Niguel. It's called Kite Hill. And in fact, they named the housing development for that. And what it was for radio controlled gliders. They were there long before. And part of the development for the city, they made it a safe spot, and it is listed on the FAA. It's there, and it's a protected area for gliders. And the other one
Nice.
is Torrey Pines, which Chris will know about,
Yeah.
and so will Ron. Torrey
Yep.
Pines for gliders over there. That is awesome because you
Yeah.
get the bluffs on the ocean, and you get that lift, and that's where they do the hand gliding right
Yeah.
off the
So
cliffs there.
another spot, Steve, is Dog Beach in Huntington.
Yes,
There's
yes.
the cliffs right there.
Mhm.
Now, keep in mind, though, if you've got combat gliders flying, do not put a regular glider up because they will take you out.
Yeah.
And a regular glider will not correct the same way as a combat wing will.
And it might not
'cause-
survive.
And yeah, the EPP foam ones, we've crashed. They've gone down to the cliff. They've gone out in the road. A car's driven over them. As long as the car doesn't drive over the servo, you're fine. You
Yep,
pick it back up. You
that
go.
is true.
The coolest part is when you get 2 of the combat gliders, the wings with props, right? Because they'll scream at like 70 miles per hour and go straight up, and you can see them go up towards each other. And if one's going faster, but it hits like this, and they slap together, and one slides over the other, you just hear the prop just tearing into it through that foam, and it's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
we did. Oh, go ahead, Ron.
I'm going to pop out, and I got to get up early in the morning for work. So,
All right, Ron,
Yeah,
Ron, check
appreciate you jumping in.
check your text, okay?
yep, we'll do.
Yeah, and
You have a good night,
I'll get that off to you. It'll take me a few days
Yep.
Oh, we're not on working, so you got to go during regular hours. But I'll get it to you.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Well, Lon,
my pleasure.
Sean, thank you, and you guys have a great night.
Have a good night.
All right, Ron. Have a good night.
Take care, Ron. Yeah, Ron does some phenomenal videos and photography that he does.
Oh yeah.
Because he has such a back life. It's over 20 years, if I remember correctly, of shooting weddings. He used to be a wedding photographer. But he loves his passion, obviously, with hunting as a hunting guide and everything else, and being out in the open. Now landscape, but basically wildlife photography. He is very talented. And now with this hot air balloon stuff, that was really awesome.
Yeah, so we've got the big hot air thing out here in Albuquerque, and they pretty much, unless you work it out with them way ahead of time and get absolute written permission, they don't want nobody up around them things.
No.
So
I have a friend of mine that's a hot air balloon pilot. He's flown there many years ago, but he flew for like 5 or 6 years in a row over there.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like an invited event.
Yes, it almost is. Yes. So it is spectacular, though. If anybody ever gets a chance to come out to Albuquerque when they have the Balloon Fest, there is nothing else like it anywhere in the world, to my knowledge. So.
Oh, I never finished telling you about the plane I flew.
Yes.
Yeah, so it does have all the stuff in it, like you said, self-leveling and all that.
All right.
After doing drones for so long now, just flying in circles, doing loops and barrel rolls, within 20 minutes, I was done. I landed it, packed it back in the box, and said, I don't want to buy it, and gave it back to my neighbor.
Wow.
It just got boring. It was boring. Like, now that we see what the planes can see, the drones can see, it's unless you're doing something with it like combat or goggles, just flying it in a short range of sight, it just doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Well, yeah, it's like when very first plane I ever had was a tether. Remember those, the testers?
With the little thing with the line?
Yeah, it's on a line, and you just go around in circles.
I do remember those.
Move on to your remote control. We can't go back to the tether after that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
My very first,
control.
my very first Nitro airplane my father bought me was a Testers Cox P-40 Warhawk that was U-Control that we bought at Toys R Us.
Yep. Toys R Us, dude.
Yep.
That's where I got my tester. They had a whole aisle of Testers aisle. Yep.
They still make them. Is that the one that made the little balsa ones with the little rubber band and the propeller? You guys remember those?
No, that's Gillows.
Oh, this is motor.
That's Gillows, the one
you remember those though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so they made that version, and then my dad was cheap. He would always get me the I don't know if it's cheap or not. I mean, it's like $1 extra, but you get the one without the propeller, and it just had a little weight on the front for a glider. He'd give me that one instead of the propeller one.
Gillows was it's called Gillows, Guillows, I think it is. They still make all kinds of stuff for that like that. You can still buy all different kinds of models that are all stick and tissue, and you have to put the paper, the tissue paper on and cover it with dope and paint it and whatever you want. So, that's how I learned how to do dope. Yeah. And back then, it would get you high if you were in an enclosed room. Let me tell you, butyrate dope. Oh my Lord, that stuff is strong.
Oh,
so, the lacquer would just have you higher than a kite.
Yep. So, but no, that one I got as a kid from my dad. That was all plastic molded. It was all injection molded. It was good, durable plastic too. It wasn't like PVC. It was something else. So, but it flew okay, for being a U-Control, and then I'd go fly that thing, and it'd go around in a circle at a pretty good speed. And then my dad would bring out his little Satan, and that's what it was called. And it's just a flying wing that was U-Control, and it was nitro powered. That thing was fast, very fast on strings.
So I found some
yeah, I see
combat
that. There you
gliders.
go.
Is that Huntington?
Those are, what's that?
Is that Huntington?
I'm not sure where this is. I didn't look. It doesn't look like Huntington.
No, that's not Huntington.
That's not Huntington.
But you see how they're trying to hit each other?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the fun, right? That's
Right. Now here's a big thing for all of us that fly RC anything that's in the air. I dare you to go up and go try and hit each other on purpose.
It's harder than you think.
Easy. It is super difficult because there is a depth perception issue that you just can't get around until you go to the camera with FPV. Then it gets really interesting. But you lose a field of view, so you only can see what's in front of you. So with FPV style, you have to constantly be turning to look around rather than just turning your head. But
that would be interesting to see, Doc, if one of these guys had a camera on theirs with FPV to see if he had an advantage or not.
Oh, you definitely would.
But then someone could take you out from the side that you didn't even see coming.
That is correct. That is the disadvantage.
But yeah, these are so much fun. And it's definitely a lot harder to hit somebody, even with this, what you're seeing right now. It's so much harder thinking you're going to hit, and you actually just sort of pass right by each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you're trying to hit.
A great example of that is when Flight Test has their
there's a hit right there.
Flight Fest. When they do Flight Fest, they put hundreds of aircraft up in the air, and only a percentage of them actually hit each other. All the rest of them just run out of battery, before they can do anything and end up landing out in the field. But it's all about that depth perception. Without, there's no getting around it.
Okay, Chris. Stevie just posted saying,
yes,
he almost took you. You almost took him out. What happened?
Oh, yeah, you guys. Let me see if I can. Let me think. I got to think if I've got it. I don't know if I got it handy here or not. I don't think I do.
See, Doc, though, one of these set up for long range with goggles in the mountains would be so cool.
Be very efficient.
Yeah, because literally there's so much wind blowing that would make updraft. I could fly for hours. You can get 3+ hours easily on one of the batteries to fly a glider like that.
That's that.
Not that I'd want to stand there and fly for 3 hours, but
You know what, though?
It's possible.
You think about it, though, as long as you've got the range, then that 3-hour thing comes into play for getting the the footage for flying through a canyon or along a ridge line or something of that nature.
Yeah. Well, something that I found interesting that I always have connection issues here with the DJI FPV. It's just signal. Everyone claims how great the signal is. And for me, I lose it and it goes break up and it goes to e-brake all the time.
That's interesting.
And a lot of that is due to the mountains are really thick. So if you go over a ridge or you go anywhere that you lose a connection, it just wants to go into e-brake. It's not one of the
other things you got to remember, Sean, is the minerals that you have and all that rock up there. That causes problems with electricity and RF signals.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't cause a problem with the. It doesn't cause. So with the Air 2, for example, we took that and flew it in the exact same way that we flew the DJI FPV. No signal issues whatsoever. It's something to do with the video signal, but if the video signal breaks up, it automatically stops the DJI FPV. It's not like your video signal breaks up on the phone and you can still fly it. It puts on e-brake, which slams it into a braking motion.
Yeah, basically puts you into the oh shit button system.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard. Is it
Lon's
true?
got something to say there. He's got his finger up.
Okay, go ahead, Lon.
Part of that is which way are you facing? The problem with goggles is it's more directional than the controller. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The controller is more omnidirectional, even though it's directional to an extent. And I think unless you got Doc's antennas, with the DJI antennas, you're kind of, it's kind of doing one of these.
Yeah,
right,
you're
Doc?
limited.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you're facing this way and you're flying the drone that way behind a mountain, you know what I mean?
I agree with that. We did test that, and I turned Dobo as he flew just to test to see if that was part of it. And it's like, I don't know if you saw the video the first day I got the DJI. I was seriously all happy. I go out and fly it from my back patio, go up, and crashed. It went over this mountain ridge, but also it went through all the houses. It did pretty well until I got over that mountain ridge. However, I was really far. I showed Ken how far I was from my takeoff spot, and he was like, "Holy crap, you like for that to do that, like it was pretty impressive." But I pushed it, I pushed it probably further than I should have pushed it. However, it's not like flying acro behind a house or through a warehouse. You got these thinner walls that you can get through, windows. When you go behind something that's a mountain, that's thick. There's nothing transmitting through that ridge. It's just not going to happen. So that's something you have to fly different up here. And Ken found that out right away.
Now I have a question to ask the people that do have the FPV. I've heard rumors, and I don't know, and that's why it's a question. I heard the transmission output on the controller versus like the new Air 2S or even my Air 2 and other controllers that are running it is a less of an output, especially on the new OcuSync 3. It's less than the new Air 2S.
Oh, the FPV drone?
The output on the FPV, it's less. Is that true?
I don't know what the technical side of that is, but from the test that Ken and I did, yes, the S2 has a solid. We flew in the exact same spot, no bars lost on the S2, and we actually had to be careful with what we were losing on the FPV. So it sounds like it could be true, but I don't know.
I just looked this up the other day, and I can't remember, but I do believe the dBs are less on the FPV drone than it is on the Air 2F. I got into it with Matt from Australia, and I sent him all the numbers. I sent him all the numbers. Yeah, I sent him the numbers. It is lower. Yeah, for sure. It's like the smart controller has a lower, a smaller, a weaker radio, I guess, for lack of a better term, than the regular controller. It is what it is.
And that's only OcuSync. The smart controller is OcuSync 2, not 3.
Right. I can think 1, 2, 3, whatever, but the radio transmission is definitely weaker on the FPV drone than it is on the Air 2S. It's not in question. I was just using the smart controller as another example. The radio is weaker on the smart controller than it is on the Mavic 2 Pro's standard controller. Is what I'm saying. The radio is weak. It just is.
So Doc, are you familiar with these antenna?
They're like the Axes, but basically they're a skew planer. But they're just built into a plastic housing so that you can't mess with the, with the elements.
I've been hearing that. I don't know if this is the brand or if it's just one that looks just like this for the new goggles. That actually make a difference. And for me and where I'm at,
here's the problem with
debating
them,
it.
and this is something you got to take into account. That the new DJI FPV rig is linear polarized. It's not circular polarized. Those antennas are circular polarized.
But these are supposed to be for the new ones.
I know, but you have to bear that in mind. You'll get better reception overall with those antennas, but you give up a little bit of range because now you're not matching linear to linear. You're going circular to linear.
Yeah, see, range is what I want.
Yeah.
So that would not work. Range is more important to me than anything right up here. Because when you're going to fly next to a mountain, and you're somewhere parked over here, the mountain looks like it's really close to you, right? It does. Yeah. You look like you're super close to it, but the thing is so massive, it plays optical illusions with your eyes. It's actually really far. You're like, you got to fly 2,000 to 5,000 feet away from yourself before you're even at that spot, and then you can fly and do all your maneuvers.
Talking about close, this is for Stevie, Capture Life Connection.
You got to fly 2,000 to 5,000 feet.
Check this out. Now Stevie has shown his video of what he saw from his FPV drone out in Florida when we were flying at the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Check this out.
Let me make yours.
That is from the Excalibur. That is how close we missed.
Holy
Oh yeah,
mackerels.
I remember seeing that.
I remember
were
that.
Actually, I remember us all going, "Whoa!"
Yeah, we were less than a quad length apart. My quad's length apart when we passed. How's that?
See,
Yeah,
we'll take
that
you-
would have been a cool video if you guys
You'll
had
be
gone,
able to fly that in Huntington Beach and go for the crash and burn, Chris.
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what, had we collided, I'd have gone out, found my quad, bent the props back, made sure nothing was broke, and put another battery in it, gone up and flown. Stevie would have had to have gone out with a dustpan.
Yo, Doc, you'll be happy. I don't know if Ken's gonna do it, but when he was up here, he was talking about building me some kind of 5-inch to fly with the DJI setup. Because I just got this one, and he helped me set it up.
It depends on what you want to do, Sean. I mean, do you want range, end time, or do you want that 5-inch freestyle feel in close with the DJI quality?
What I want versus what Ken wants for me might be two different things.
Well, what do you want? That because it brings the question. What do you want to do with it?
I have the DJI FPV, which is decently long range, I guess. It's not as long range as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But I don't have something right now to practice anything in tight. Like, I won't practice with the DJI to get real close to things, especially
Right.
because I fly in snow, and I've been this whole winter I've been flying in snow, trying to learn in snow, and it's so damn hard, or at least it was for me. And seeing Ken come up here and crash in snow his first day, I was like, it's not just me. It's not just me. It is actually really hard to fly in snow and judge how close you are to snow. And
even
I
in
can't
full size,
believe he was in D-Log too.
Oh yeah, in full size flying, it's the same problem. The snow gives you no reference. It's just like for float plane pilots. When you go to land on a lake or ocean or whatever, and it's really smooth, you have absolutely no frame of reference of where that water is at all. And the snow is the same way. So
It's
I've
the same
learned
with
on
flying a
days.
drone over water too.
Yeah,
The
same
same
thing.
way. The snow and water are both the same way.
So for me, for water's flat, right? So if I know I'm 3 feet off the ground, I'm 3 feet off the ground, unless there's a tree or something that sticks up or there's waves.
Right.
And snow on the mountains, there's hills or maybe there's a rock. And if everything's white and is also cloudy, you can't tell if there's a bump or if it goes up. Like where he crashed, it actually, you'll see in my video, I'm playing.
There was a little ripple of snow.
Say what?
There was a little ripple in the snow.
Not as much as you think. You'll see in my video. I play the whole thing. What do you got, Lon?
What do you try? I'm wondering what you're trying to do again. If you just want the goggle experience and you want to be able to fly long range, DJI's got your ticket coming up because from what I made to understand, the firmware is going to be released pretty soon to be able to use the goggles with the Air 2S.
Yeah, I've heard of
that.
You're
not trying to do flippy flips and whatnot. Right. You can put the Air 2S in FPV mode, right? So that you still get the the rolling, horizon and whatnot, and you can use the goggles.
Now, I will say that
there you go.
Flying with the goggles is easier to see than your phone screen up here, because Ken also learned that as soon as you remove the goggles, you're blind for a second when it's sunny out, but the goggles block the sun so you can see your screen, so you can actually judge what you're doing a lot better. So that is an option. I'll debate the S. I have the Air 2, but what I really want is that damn wing, so I could just just have that roller coaster kind of feel,
Yeah,
that will be my goal eventually. And it might end up not being the wing. It might just be me flying long range FPV.
But as far as for FPV right now, what is it that you're looking for out of it?
I need something. I've got this little dude with bumpers, right? So I can judge. And I can go to close. Yeah. So I want to get better for flipping around trees and going around stuff. Not necessarily flips. I do like power loops and swooping.
No, but you mentioned earlier you want to learn that more flowing move. Okay. And I'll be honest with you, a 5-inch is the way to go for that because it's more than durable enough to take all the abuse, when you run into a tree or run into the ground or whatever have you, and you just go walk out, dust it off, bend a prop back, and rearm it.
And
If you're going more for distance, like setting up there at Loveland and then flying the ridge around Loveland, all the way around and then come back, you want more of a 7-inch that's very light.
Yeah, like a Flywoo Explorer or something like that.
Right, but bigger. That's an actual 7-inch prop.
I thought Flywoo Explorer was 7 inches, is it not?
4.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's a 4-inch.
No, does anybody make one like that?
Well, you can buy light 7-inch frames and then set it up for this.
So you got to build your own.
You have to build it. Yeah.
You guys are going to get me in this building one of these days.
It's okay, Sean.
Sean, I know somebody who's a professional at doing that.
Yeah.
He just happens to be on your show.
Right over there.
I'm going to have to give you a free tattoo, Doc.
And you know what? And you know what? The antennas for your goggles, Doc's got to sit there and come up with an antenna and put them on the market, and you start selling them.
The hardest part with what I make is the consistency when you go to mass produce it. That's where the problem is. That's what all the other antenna manufacturers have the problem. It's not what they designed. It's how they have to assemble it and how fast. Yeah. See, that's the catch. All of mine are handmade. So when I make them, I'm double checking them as I'm making them. That way all the elements are the same length. They're all soldered in the same place. Everything. And
you're still limited on how much you can sell them for because you've got these companies that are able to mass produce them. So you can sell them a little more, but it's not like you can sell them for what a handmade product really should be sold for.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but there's a good answer to that. Pay me now or pay me later.
Most of the people are more than willing just to pay later because they're not going out and flying.
And later and later.
Well, yeah, they're not going out and really using the goggle systems to its full potential. The vast majority, they're flying within a schoolyard effectively, size-wise. So
I will definitely not be flying in a schoolyard.
Correct. So for your circumstance, me making a set of antennas for you to do what you need to do is much better, and you will have a much better video quality.
Well, we can see there. You can see there on the screen. Matt says, "Doc, you should build me one."
Right.
Well, Matt needs to finish making the 5-inch frame first.
Well, no, you said 7-inch frame. I need a 7-inch frame.
Oh, well, yeah, you need the 7, but he's got a 5-inch. So
is he building it and cutting it out of carbon fiber himself?
No, he's got a brand spanking new frame from Rotor Riot. So
he's looking to build onto his frame. So you're showing him how to build.
He's got to assemble it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, if I get this house I'm looking at, I'll have room for all that. That's one of my big things over the last year. I've been saying, I don't want to build. I don't want to build. Well, King came in and he saw this little room I'm in here. And he's like, on video, it looks big. It's literally not even 10 feet across. It's the tiniest little room you can think of.
You've got more room than I got. I literally have this corner right here.
Okay,
I have
but yours is set up for building and hobbies, and mine is set up for Pac-Man.
Well, of course. And Miss
Okay,
Pac-Man.
Sean, question. How far away is the new, if it comes through, this new house from where you're at now?
Distance-wise. So I'm in Dillon. Mileage-wise, it's maybe 6 miles.
Oh, where at? Same town?
In Silverthorne.
What?
It's located in Silverthorne, right in central Silverthorne, by a place called Rainbow Park. Now, the odds of me getting it are really small because they decided that they want to have an open house next weekend, and then they'll let me know. So I basically was putting a verbal offer out there tonight without actually making it written, just to tell them, hey, I'm interested. It's one I found on Craigslist, so it's not on the market yet, and it's for sale by owner. So I thought, okay, here we go. I might actually have a chance because every time I found something, we're talking 12 offers by the end of the day, which means it's way past my price point because I'm coming in at stuff that's at the top of my price point that I'm finding. I've done all my budgeting. I know what's the very max that I can do to not just be so house broke that I got to sell all my drones. That's I don't want to be that house broke. So,
or so house broke you don't have time to do anything with the drones.
Yeah, because you got to
having to spend it all at the work.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
unfortunately,
that's a possibility.
Unfortunately,
if you guys see my channel completely just turn into a tattoo channel, you know what happened. You find yourself making the videos that you're able to do, right? Like I actually, with Ken up, it really reminded me, because I do want to make a tattoo channel, like a story of how tattoos, why people are getting them and that kind of stuff. But I realized two things. One, it slows down the process of doing the tattoo considerably, like tons. And two, it depends who you're filming, because some people are really quiet and they clam up if you put the camera on them, and then who wants to watch that? So then now you're having to interview the people that are going to be on the videos for the tattoos.
That's right.
So it's a lot of work to do that, but eventually I'd like to.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now, Sean, it's just a bad time to be trying to buy a home, because it is definitely the seller's market. There are homes here in where I live. You guys know where I live.
Yeah.
That they're getting an offer in, and they're getting 10 to 20 counter offers in the same day.
Yep. No, that's surprising to me, Steve, because I thought everybody was moving away from California and going to Austin, Texas, and places like that.
Well, that'll be another place. I just got to find a place that can match the weather.
So that's what's happening, though. Like I was reading an article about a lot of people in Austin that live there that are trying to go from renting to buying, can't, because people from California are coming over and they have $200,000 more they can spend than someone that's already in Austin.
Right.
Well, just a real quick story. When I went to Spin Up One, we were there. I was staying at the hotel that Kelly had made the arrangements for. And I went to the Macaroni Grill across the street because I stayed an extra day. I went in there on Sunday night because I was leaving out on Monday. And I sat at the bar because, the place was empty. And they were talking. We started talking about wine. And then everything was all great. And they said, "Where are you from?" I go, "California." It was like the plague had hit. And all of a sudden, no one said a word to me except for the bartender came back up. I go, "What happened? Did I say something wrong?" He goes, "Yeah, you said California." Yep. Because what's happening, and this is, 3 years ago, going on 4 years ago, people from California are going there, buying two places, one for themselves, then renting the other one out. They're not bringing anything into the state. They're getting the tax benefit, and all they've done is raise the prices in Austin. Yeah. They were so mad. And I go, "I'm not moving here, honestly. You guys don't have the climate I had, and I paid $169,000 for a home that's worth over $1 million now. But I'm not going to sell it."
No, because if you sell it, where are you going to go?
No,
you can't buy another home there unless you're going to spend the same amount of money.
Yep. See, like I got lucky with where I lived when I left California. I lived in the high desert. Yeah. So for me, moving to southern New Mexico, it's the high desert. So I get the same basic climate that I had back there. The only thing I don't get is all the craziness.
And that is one of the things that people are tripping out on is and I don't know if it's true, but people moving from California to other states and then bringing their policies with them, but they're leaving California because they don't want those policies. However, then they're going to go and bring them with them. It's sort of like people from other countries not coming over and assimilating to our culture.
That's right.
If we go to France, we got to learn French, right? It's just sort of how you're supposed to do it, or at least that's how it always used to be.
That's how I did it. When I lived in Germany, I learned German.
Yeah, exactly. and I learned that's why French people usually go, "Oh, American, right?" Because we come over there and like, "Oh, we're not going to learn French. Well, we got to learn English." But if it makes sense, if California's leaving that because it's the Republican side that's leaving, and then maybe they don't want to change the vote, then everything doesn't change when they go somewhere. But I think it's all kinds of people moving, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens to different states.
And it's happening everywhere. It's not just the Southwest.
Yeah,
they're moving everywhere.
I heard Idaho is getting flooded with Californians right now.
Idaho's been with that for now coming on 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So friends of mine bought a property there, and what
Idaho?
they did,
Why Idaho?
well, the number one, it used to be the property tax is so low, but what Idaho did, where they moved in, and 1 year to the next, they doubled their property taxes. Because what happens is people are moving in, they're not generating any revenue or income coming into the town, and so they've got all this, and people coming in, and you've got to take care of all this, but there's no revenue coming into the town. They doubled it in the county that they moved into from 1 year to the next, and went from 1.75 to 3.5 1 year, and then again it's gone up again. And that's one thing I'll give California. We have what they call Prop 13, so it can only go up by 2% a year, period, capped.
Yep. They've been trying to get rid of that for 30 years.
Yeah, you know that real well.
Know all about it.
Yeah. The thing is, now that everybody's learned they can work from home, it becomes even a bigger problem, because these people will move from LA to somewhere else where the living's cheap and still make $250,000 a year. Working for Apple or whoever. But they're sitting in front of a computer all day somewhere in Indianapolis or something like that, where the average income is $70,000 a year, but they don't bring anything into the community.
Well,
you know what I mean? As far as
that, like here in southern New Mexico, we've got where I'm at. I'm in a mountain town. Okay, so it's very small, but an hour and a half away, you've got Las Cruces. Las Cruces is the size of Victorville. Okay, up back in California. To give you an idea, Sean, Las Cruces is about, if you could separate Colorado Springs from the rest of that area, it's about the size of Colorado Springs.
That's
what
decent size. It's bigger than where I'm at least.
Yeah, that's what Cruces is. But within that area,
hold on, Doc. Let me say one thing real quick to Lon's point. That's exactly what's happening to me, Lon, is the owners of this property can now work remotely. So they're moving back, and I'm out. And that's happening everywhere up here where I'm at right now. There's so many people getting kicked out on the street. The house that I just am trying to put an offer on, people I know rented it, and they just got kicked out, and I'm trying to buy it. And let me tell you, this house is only 1,000 square feet. 1,000 square feet. The people bought it probably 10, 20 years ago for like 100-something thousand. 4 years ago, it was worth maybe 400,000, and now they're trying to get 640 for it. For 1,000 square feet. It's not just your area. I mean, like I said, we've got Cruces, then you've got Truth or Consequences, you've got Socorro, and then as you get closer to Albuquerque, then you get Albuquerque. Albuquerque's huge. Okay, it's as big as Phoenix as far as physical number of people. And the same thing's happening in all of those big towns. Where it's not happening is like where I'm at. I'm in a little small town, and there's still stuff to buy here, but even at that, the price has gone up because of that same issue. Not as drastically, not as dramatically, as the bigger cities, because most people that are moving from places like California, they're city folk, and they don't understand what it is to be out here in the sticks, both internet and for, stores and everything else you might need. Like if I wanted to go to a Home Depot, it's an all day trip, because it's a 2-hour drive. Yeah. Just to get to the nearest Home Depot, let alone the time getting the stuff and then getting something to eat while you're there. And then the 2-hour drive back. And, by the time you're done, you just put 6, 7, 8 hours in just to go to Home Depot. Yeah. Wow. Well, we just went down to Denver yesterday to see a movie and try to get a steak dinner, right? Just to go to Texas Roadhouse. We drove down an hour down to Denver, saw a movie, decided to go to a mall, and then we were going to go back to Texas Roadhouse, and all of a sudden these giant rain clouds are rolling into Denver, and we're like, we better check what the weather looks like up at the mountains. And it claimed that there was a bad snowstorm, ice coming in, and we're like, oh, shit. Yeah. We can't go to Texas Roadhouse. We got to drive back. Yeah. We drive back. We get over through Evergreen, past Idaho, and it's sunny as can be, and we're like,
Oh my goodness.
I didn't get my steak.
I hate when that happens.
But I mean, if it had been the other way around,
Lon doesn't have that problem. When they say they got thunderstorms coming, all he's got to do is look out his back window and go, "Oh crap! Yeah, here they come."
Yeah, you can't buy a steak in their stupid town where he lives.
not a good one.
You can't get a decent friggin' steak. Trust me.
Next time, Lon, we'll just go to the store and we'll make our own.
Yeah, I mean that's what you do.
Because the problem with Spin Down is that the damn grills had covered. We couldn't even grill at it.
I know.
We chose that location hoping to be able to grill and do all this stuff, and then the damn world shut down. And luckily, some of you guys were still able to come. Kelly and I are still throwing around the idea of doing a last-minute meetup, not making some kind of big ordeal out of it. If I can get my housing situation done in time to still do like maybe a late August meetup. This way, there might not be as bad of winds as there were at Spin Down. It is still in late August here. The weather's already starting to cool down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be in the 50s, 60s, maybe like that. Maybe high 70s if we're lucky on some days. Where it's still 90 to 100 something everywhere else in the community,
Yeah, well, Sean, we go to these dealios. I'll be honest with you. I'll fly for about 2-3 hours, and then the rest of the time.
Yeah, exactly. But the grills are open now, at least, right? And the mask thing, we're about to go into what they call green, which means I think it means that store owners will be able to choose if they want to force people to wear masks.
Are you in teal right now?
I don't know what the hell. Oh my God!
God,
so
Sean, our governor out here has got her head screwed somewhere that it don't belong. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you can do what we've done finally here in California. They put the recall through, which has been recalled, so he is under recall as governor. And the people here, you go to any restaurant, we're supposedly under what they call the orange level, 25% occupancy, indoor dining.
It's amazing to me.
50 to 75% capacity at every restaurant.
Wow.
That's just crazy. The California locked down so hard and they had so many cases, which proves the way they handled it really didn't make a big difference. So it's just crazy to me the way that they just kept going that it's like, we said this already, so we're just gonna go with it because we feel really stupid to say, it didn't work. Let's try something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a bunch of children running the damn country, man.
No,
the bottom line is you can make any rules you want, but somebody's got to enforce it.
That's right.
Enforcers start going, you know what? I'm tired of being on YouTube videos, stomping into people's restaurants and closing them down while their kids are crying in the corner because mom and dad are going to lose their house.
Yep.
I'm tired of being that guy. So when the enforcers stop enforcing,
that is 100% accurate.
Yep.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, in Texas they've gotten rid of the mask mandate too. A lot of states have now.
Yeah.
When I did my trip to Florida, the only time I put a mask on was when we went into Kelly's business while he still had employees there. That was it. Other than that, I didn't put a mask on my whole trip. And I drove through New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Virginia, Arkansas, Oklahoma, back to Texas, and then back home.
Wow, good for you.
Never put a mask on. None of those states.
The only reason I wear a mask is to go in because I have to buy something.
Yep.
And then otherwise you will not see with my map. All my projects, everybody, I tell them, you are not required to wear a mask unless you want to.
Yep.
You know what's a real shame is we had an opportunity here through this to teach our children to be cleaner, to wash their hands better.
Mm-hmm.
Like put in kindergarten, first grade, third grade, all through elementary. Maybe put a sink in the classroom and let the kids wash their damn hands. Teach them to do it because not all parents teach their kids to be clean, right? Yep. So we had an opportunity to mold young minds to be cleaner people, and no one took it. They just there's no money in that, right? There's no money in actually teaching someone to be cleaner.
No, where's the dollar on this?
Yeah,
where's it at?
Soap sales would have gone through the roof.
No, but I mean
toilet paper.
Where's the dollar at right now on this?
Oh God! At the mall that I told you I just went to, at the mall they had a kiosk just to sell masks.
Well, that's one spot. Where's the other? Where's the big money?
Oh, dude,
Vaccination?
The
Oh,
vaccine.
the vaccine. Oh yeah, because the vaccine's not free, is it?
But wait, Bill and Melinda Gates just announced they're getting divorced. So what I want to know is Linda Gates tired of Bill wanting to take over the world or what?
Yeah, who knows?
We'll see if she leaks any stuff. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know, but you can find this out looking on the internet. In 2020, Bill Gates bought up more farming property in the United States than all the rest of the farmers combined.
Wow.
So why is he all of a sudden into farming?
Yep. Has everything to do with GMO, that's for sure.
Yep. Well, Sean, I've got to take off. I got an early day tomorrow. Thank you.
Actually, I think we're going to start wrapping this up. We've been on 2 hours. I appreciate you guys all jumping in. I was sort of nothing to talk about, so that worked out great having you guys all come in and help out.
You were doing a little hyperventilating there, Sean. It's okay. We got you covered.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, I'm
that's
telling
fine,
you.
David. I felt like I wanted to support you a little bit, you know.
It's nice having fun on.
It's just,
Chris,
you know, I'm
good to
trying
see
to,
you.
if you guys don't see something, go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, Chris, good to see you. Lon, good to see you, and everybody in chat. Thanks for coming in to support Sean.
You bet. You bet. Have a good night, Steve.
Have a good night.
There he
Yeah,
goes.
and just so everybody knows, I try to do the first and third Mondays. I'm going to try to do that through this. If I can get somebody to interview, I'll get back to my things. The whole point with these shows is I really enjoy interviewing people about their story on YouTube, whether it be using drones to do it or something completely else. There's a guy, and I might have mentioned this. There's a channel that I watch occasionally called Cart Narcs. Maybe someone in here has heard of it. Have you
I've
guys
heard
seen
of
it?
it.
Yeah, the guy goes around with a wand and he's like, whoop, bloop, bloop, bloop. And he goes to grocery store parking lots and says, that's not where the cart goes, and shames people for not returning their cart.
God.
You've heard the thing, there's two kinds of people in the world. The ones that voluntarily return their cart to the shopping cart corral, or the kind that just leave it in the space to hit other people's cars. Which kind are you?
I always put mine away. I put
I
one
do
or two
too.
away sometimes, just because I got a nice car. You know, so I know
don't
what
care
it's
about
like.
the car thing. You ought to see my truck. My truck's a tool.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. You know, I know what it's like to bump a stupid cart with your car because some idiot couldn't put it away 10 feet away from them. You know what I mean?
And just a few weeks ago, I actually was at Lowe's and the wind was blowing. As you know, it can blow up here. I stopped one from hitting someone's car. I ran across, stopped it. It was blowing across the parking lot.
Wow.
That happens. And that would suck to come back and a cart be against your car and you got a new dent in your car because somebody was not taking the time to put the thing away.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Doc, you're on the DJI FPV drone is fragile train too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to challenge somebody when we get together one of these times. I want them to take somebody to take a 5-inch drone, fly it at a wall at 90 miles per hour, and pick it up and tell me nothing's gonna break. Because that's what everybody says about the FPV drone, that it's so fragile. These guys are hitting trees at 60 and 70 miles per hour and breaking an arm. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, sometimes. I mean, if you watch...
I crashed mine twice without a scratch.
Yeah, you've done real good with yours.
I crashed mine. No,
You did good with yours
scratch
too,
and a
Sean,
prop.
Yeah.
Ken crashed his, but his was in soft snow. So he got lucky that way.
I've seen a lot of crashes with the FPV drone, and people just pick it up and brush it off. I'm not saying it's not more fragile than a 4mm carbon fiber frame. I'm not stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand that that's tougher, but I'm just saying a lot of these crashes, when they break arms, they break this, they break that. A lot of times they're doing 40, 50 miles per hour or more, and they hit something and they break an arm. And I'm just saying, if you take a 5-inch Nazgul or whatever, and you run it smack dab at 50 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour into something, you'll probably break something.
Well, no, it depends on how it's hit. See, because what breaks the arms on the 5-inch, 6-inch, 4-inch quads is the inertia. Okay, so if you're running a 6S battery, you got a lot of weight sitting up there in battery weight that is strapped real tight to the frame most of the time. And if that battery doesn't eject, all of that inertia has to go somewhere where it impacts. So if you take a frame like, like this one,
right,
and you hit straight on the arm, at 60 miles an hour, you're going to break the arm. But what happens if you don't hit it square and you glance it, spins it, and there you go, and you crash. 60 miles an hour, you're not going to break anything. You might bend a prop. But the other option is if you hit, say you hit head on now, and you only got one battery strap's going to break. It's going to eject the battery. All that inertia keeps going with the battery and not with the quad. So then you don't break anything. But if you strap that battery down real good, which I do, I strap all mine down with double straps if I can. I personally would rather have the battery stay with the quad. And if that means I got to sacrifice parts, if I hit something hard enough, I'm okay with that because that's a given. It's a trade-off. So
that's my other point too.
Right. With the FPV drone,
FPV weighs 800 grams.
Right. With the FPV drone,
you know.
Now give you, for instance, this only weighs about 100 grams less than that FPV drone.
Right.
And that ain't that much until you get above 20, 30 miles an hour. Then the inertia exponentially rises. Right. But at 700 grams for this versus 800 grams for that, and you hit both of them in the same way, that FPV drone is going to break. This one won't. Comparatively.
Okay. And my other argument is the GoPro argument.
Right.
I'm like, you're going to lose your GoPro. I guarantee.
Again, depends on how you hit.
70 miles per hour, you're probably going to lose your GoPro. It's going to be garbage.
Well, again, it depends on how you hit. I mean, I have the same GoPro Session 4 that I had when I bought two of them. I lost one when I lost a quad in flight. I had a video transmitter failure out at range. So, and I still have not found it. But the other one that I had is still on the replacement 5-inch Stingy that I have now. And I beat the crap out of that thing. And I still haven't broke it. And then I have run cam split cameras, that are in some of my rigs. And again, I beat the living tar out of those things.
Well, yeah, you said a session though, right? We're not talking about a GoPro with screen on the front, a screen on the back.
No. I use a session. So
yeah. That's a different camera than a regular GoPro.
Well, even if I didn't, I would put it in a good GoPro holder. A lot of guys, what they'll do, let's see if I got it sitting up here or not. I know I got it here somewhere because I took it off of that one. Yeah, here it is. All right. This is the Armiton Rooster. All right. The way you mount a GoPro to this is this one piece of carbon plate right here. You take it off of the aluminum parts and you feed it through that slot to where this now sits like that for the GoPro.
Right.
Did you notice how little protection there actually is for the GoPro? This is how they get broke versus having a full-on, TPU mount that completely covers the GoPro. It's less likely to get broke. Where a lot of GoPros get broke in this arrangement is the battery. They've only got the battery strapped with one strap. So when they hit, the battery strap breaks and the battery goes straight forward into the back of the GoPro and destroys the screen. That's where the majority of them get broke. That's why I double strap the batteries. That way it doesn't move.
Right.
Okay.
So guys,
yeah.
And you can also just lose your GoPro like I did that one time, Lon, just when you set it on the stream and the stream water comes up and takes it away.
You and I
can't believe I swear, I was trying to get that low shot with my GoPro 8. It was almost brand new. I was like, ooh, this is nice and low. I put it on this little ledge. Stream was coming. It looked low. I didn't realize it was going to high tide on me like the ocean.
Oh, my God.
I went on a walk, come back, and came up and had just gotten sucked in.
You know what's funny, Sean? If you guys ever have a real drought, a true drought, okay, and that stream runs dry, you better go look for that thing.
We had a drought, and I went and looked for it, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
The area where I think it's probably at, I mean, it'd have to be so dry, like to be able to get the water's too cold. I don't know if you saw the video. I put on a jumpsuit with the blinkers and all that. I tried going in without it, just jumped in my skivvies, and literally I almost froze to death within 5 minutes. I had to just get out, and I could barely crawl out of the water.
Oh, my goodness.
So I went back with waders. I mean, it's straight ice melt. It's just like ice water.
Is it fast moving?
Yeah, it is. When it's higher up, it was definitely fast.
Yeah, fast moving water. Yeah, no telling.
It was so hard to walk again, but I think that the GoPro probably got caught in this. It has a little dip that was deeper, and I think it's probably just down in there circling, from the current.
It's fun if that water ever does stop flowing, man. You get down in there and take a look and find it. That would be
Wouldn't
awesome.
that be a video, huh? Found it 2 years later.
Yes.
People have found GoPros like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy not too long ago found a GoPro Hero 3 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And pulled the SD card out of it and got footage off of it.
Well, it sucks. Is the only footage I have on it is me filming the stream moving for that new channel. So I have nothing with my face on it. I have nothing that shows where I'm at. After that fact, every GoPro I have now has a README file that says like open me or read me if lost.
Something of that nature, yeah.
With my tattoo shop address in it and phone number. So if ever somebody finds one of these newer ones, if I lose one, there's at least a tiny chance I'll get it back.
Wow. I look forward to seeing that footage if you ever find that GoPro.
It's just going to be it sinking into the water and that's it. And then
but that's the best part.
It had a full battery, Sean. It had a full battery. You probably got all kinds of fish swimming by.
That would be cool.
You never know.
That would be cool.
Because
right?
On the bank.
What if on that footage it falls, there's a fish and it's rolling and then it just stops and you see this giant gold nugget, right? Like this big gold nugget, and then it rolls away. The camera rolls away, and you're like, "Where was that? I want to find the gold nugget."
Yeah,
there's tons of gold still up here in these mountains. They say.
Yeah.
Before we go, I do need to give away at least one sticker. I had other stuff I was going to give away. So, what do we got? 25 people in chat. Let's do 1 through 30. Throw up a number on there, and you guys can choose. Whoever wins between 1 and 30 can get one of these stickers.
You go ahead, Doc.
I'm going to put in the private chat.
Are you going to put it in the private chat? All right.
Yeah, I'll put the number that I'm choosing in the private chat so you guys can sort of look for it too.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's in there.
So we'll keep an eyeball out for it here.
Hang on.
Oh, it's already been chosen.
It's already been chosen.
It's already chosen. Okay, everybody, that was a quick one.
Sam Burns.
Yep, Sam Burns. So between these 3 stickers, the small Yeti, the small drone Atom sticker, or the big one, let me know.
Big, medium, or small, Sam?
Yeah, which one you want, and then I'll send you my email address.
Geez, Sam.
That was quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go quick like that. I want to possibly do another one. So let's see what Sam says. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the email address for you, Sam.
I'll pop it in the chat there.
Give these away, and then we'll call it a night. So just waiting on Sam. Sam, big baby.
Yeah.
Okay. That works. There's the email, Sam.
There you go. All right.
I don't know, Doc. I think that would make a great video if we want to sacrifice a couple drones. Just take a 5-inch with a GoPro on it and then the DJI FPV, run them full bore right into a wall.
I would watch it.
I tell you what.
See what happens.
You'd have to decide on a frame because the frames are all different, right? And that's something you got to take into account. There's a lot of frames out there that have nice, wide, thick arms, and then there are other frames out there real skinny and thicker arms.
Right.
They all have about the same strength at the normal crash speeds, okay?
Right.
It's when you cross over that 30, 40 mile an hour speed where it really starts to come into play. Like the Armaton is about a mid-size arm width, versus a Martian, which has a thicker arm, wider arm, but the same thickness because they're both 4 millimeter. Then you've got the Stingy, which has the same width arms as a rooster, but it's 5 millimeter arms. They're a little thicker, so it's a little tougher. Then you can move up to like a 7-inch even, like my practice rig. That thing's got 8 millimeter thick arms, and they're wide. That thing's a flipping tank. I mean, I've stuffed it in the dirt good and hard and walk up to it, brush the dirt off the lens, maybe change a prop. And I had to replace an antenna once because it flipped over and broke the antenna off. That's it.
I recognize there's levels. I would go like average. You know what I mean? I like to get and it's got to be able to do 90 miles per hour too. And I know not all FPV
All the 5
drones
inch
can
will do 90.
Yeah, all 5
Yeah.
inches can do 90.
Oh,
Okay.
heck yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would, if you're going to pick a frame, I would, and again, it has to do with what you want to compare. Do you want to compare it more to a beginner style 5 inch or somebody who's more serious and flown and is flying a rig regular? That would be the question.
Well, I think I wanted to, if we were going to do it, I would want it to be comparable in price. I think price is a factor. You know, with the GoPro, with the
Price,
drone,
you're not even going to come close.
$700. You know, by the time you're done messing around with the air unit and everything, you know, I think that's fair.
Well,
enough.
that's if you put
I agree with
DJI
that.
in it. You know, that's
No,
if you put a
I
DJI
actually
in
agree
it.
with Lon. You could easily build one that's comparable in price if you put the GoPro on it and everything
Oh
else.
yeah.
Especially if it's the GoPro 9.
$400, right?
You know, well, or more.
The
Yeah.
new GoPro is
Yeah,
about
yeah.
350, 400. Yeah.
See, because
Yeah,
like this,
so
this
we're
frame.
looking at about a $300 drone with the air unit. Air unit's
Well,
$179,
this,
right?
this frame right here.
Because I
is
think the FPV drone on its own is $700 or so, isn't it?
something
Yeah,
like that,
approximately. If you break it down in the kit, it's only like $450.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if you buy it
But if
by
you
itself,
buy it
it's
separate.
$740.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
So-
if you want to make that video, Lon, I am totally down to help you fly and film it, but I'm not willing to buy the products to smash them.
Well, the bottom line is I got care refresh. You know what I mean?
If you want to do that, if somebody
Yeah,
wants
it's
to put up the FPV, I
$250.
guarantee you I can make a fun video about it. We
Well,
can
here's
test
the
it.
thing.
I'll
I
test
mean-
it with some minor stuff first, and then we
This
full
right
on
here-
into a wall.
Yeah, this right here is the Armaton. It's the Rooster. This frame's $100 ish, right around there. The camera is $30. The flight controller is $30. The ESCs are $30. The VTX is about $30. The receiver's $30, and the ESC set or the motors. The motors are about $40.
What about
So-
air unit?
Well, this is all analog setup.
Oh,
Well, you'd have to do digital, so you're using the same DJI goggles.
Right.
On both.
So this one wouldn't work for DJI, you know, for the air unit because this frame's not designed for it. There is another one that is, but it's basically the same.
Yeah.
I mean, so you know, you're looking at this. You slap a GoPro on top, put a battery on it. This thing will do 100 easy.
Okay.
You know,
That's
and
fair
that's
enough. I
not
would
with,
just
and
like
that's
to
not with
see
high
that.
end props. So
I just like to see that. And, you know, the props on the DJI FPV, I can't remember. Are they 5-inch props? They're like almost 6-inch props,
they're
aren't they?
5.3, if I remember right.
5.4, 5.3, something like that.
Or yeah, they're not 5.5. They're
Okay.
they're under 5.5.
Okay.
So
I just would be interested in that. I mean, because, you know, when we do a lot of talking about it, but the
Yeah.
honest truth is, I don't think, you know, it's hard to compare apples and apples.
the question
You know
is what kind of a crash test do you want to test? Is it a movable object? I mean, you're going to get one shot at it if that's the case.
Right.
Or
Well, first thing you would fly into other things first, like maybe
well, that's
sort of
the
a-
question. Or do you choose like a kind of like an FPV race course? You know, where you've got some obstacles that you could potentially hit. You know,
Right.
like the post of a gate, which is very common to hit at speed, and then see what happens.
I think the FPV drones would do better in that. I agree with that
Mhm.
the FPV drones are tougher in a lot of ways.
Right.
I just don't necessarily 100% agree that the DJI FPV drone is going to disintegrate the moment it crashes. That's the thing. That's all
Have
I'm
you seen
saying.
this video, Lon?
Well, you know what? Part of it has to do with how high up to it falls. So
Well, yeah, I've seen these guys. Yeah, they ran into a post and
Yeah.
They did all kinds of stuff to
Bono
that.
was pretty mad at these guys. I remember that.
Really? Why?
He had a little bit of a.
as I
you know.
recall, he interviewed him.
He
Like,
was.
here's right into this pole
Dobo
right here, right?
interviewed him.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that it survived that pole hit, to be honest.
Yeah. But again, it depends on the speed. Look at the angle. Look at where he started and how far he flew. He only flew maybe 50 feet.
Still though.
Yeah, so
like,
you figure what, 20 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour maybe?
Tops.
The thing does scoot along pretty good though in sport mode.
If you were to take that thing and come out of a dive at one end of a football field,
oh,
and-
dude, it'd be destroyed.
Well,
Be
no, I mean,
splinters, dust.
you come out of the dive, level out, hold that altitude and speed as you go across the football field, and then hit the goalpost at the other end. That would be
That'd be
the better
interesting,
test.
and that would actually be harder than you think to hit a goalpost at that
No, it
speed.
ain't. I've hit
Doc
it.
can do it.
You could do it, but it'd be harder than you would
I
think.
hit
Doc
the
could do
flipping
it.
goalpost.
You might skim
twice.
it. You know, you might just skim it or something.
I did.
I'm talking a brick wall.
Yeah,
Because
I'm with
want
you. I'd
there
like
be
to see
no doubt that you hit it and you hit
Okay.
it flush on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How about this? Instead of a brick wall, we get a big piece of thick, like 1-inch plexiglass with a camera behind it, filming in a high frame rate, so it just hits it and you can film it and hit it.
It'd have to be thick though.
Chris
Yeah, that'd
Rollins,
be cool, wouldn't it?
Wait a minute. We'd have to get Chris Rollins or Ken Heron involved in this. They've got those super slow-mo cams.
Yeah. That would
There
be
you
dope.
go.
I'll start
That
talking to Chris. I'm
that
friends with
would
Chris.
be
Yeah,
so
my phone does
cool.
960. My phone does 960.
Oh, that's
You know,
impressive.
as far as high speed.
We can do it. It's a matter of just having the stuff and the people willing to sacrifice their
Right.
drones. That's the
That's right.
problem.
I'm willing to sacrifice mine. I just want to see it
I can
because I
build
hear
one.
everybody say it, and I'm just like,
Sean,
you
for
know-
my stuff, I've got plenty of stuff. I can build
Right.
one that we could do it with. That's not a
Well,
problem.
you know what, Lon? If we do get a meet up this late August up here, let's make it happen.
I'm
Nope.
in.
Sean, you know where we need to do it?
Where?
Spin up.
Well, if we're doing spin down, it's all of us too. So either which way.
Either way.
Right.
That
Spin
would
up.
be the
Spin
time
up
to do
doesn't
it.
sound like it's going to be till November or so.
September.
Kelly, pretty sure he
He was
didn't
aiming
announce it yet,
for-
but
yeah, he
unless
was
he's
aiming for
changing
September.
something, I thought it was going to be November this year.
I'll have to check. Maybe he said November. I
Did
thought
he-
I heard September.
I don't think he announced it officially yet.
No, he hasn't. He said that's where he was aiming.
That's I think the people he was talking to, it might be November, but we'll see. Once he announces it publicly,
Yeah.
we'll know. But if it is
Yeah, I'm
November,
not-
that's
I'm not
cool
kidding.
because
I'm not bullshitting. I'm in.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ron, I
I
will
just,
take
you
it.
know,
I'm
just
totally
need-
down to film it.
The only caveat I have is you can't post any videos until after I get my new one.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know how long it takes me to edit a video. It'll probably take just that long for me to edit it.
You know, purposely crashing your phone is something. Drones is something that DJI frowns on.
Oh yeah,
You
definitely.
know when it's time to replace it.
I am
right.
I am completely down with because like the way that I put shots together, I think I could come up with a way to because you got one shot at it, right?
You
So we're gonna have to have
one
a
shot.
lot of different cameras rolling.
Yep.
Right.
But I
Oh,
like the
Man,
Same time.
plexiglass idea.
I tell you what.
I
if
want it to be
you
the
can
same
get-
time.
Yeah. Well, you
I
know
don't
what?
want there to be any bullshit. I don't want there to be any, I fly in at 90 and then the other guy, pedal lifts, you know what I mean? And only flies in at 40
Oh,
or
I
50.
guarantee you,
here's
I
the
ain't gonna be
catch.
pedal lifting.
Nah,
What you have to do, Lon, is we get other people to fly them. The one
Yes.
person flies the other people's drones, so he doesn't give a crap how fast he comes in. So there's no
Oh, you'd be
backtracking.
surprised though. There's a lot of, I would have a hard time crashing somebody else's car to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, if it's an
When you
accident,
got- you know
yeah.
what I'm
But if
saying?
somebody tells you to do it and you're making a video about it
No,
and everybody's
they
in
want
it for
somebody
the
to
win,
don't go and stab me in the arm. It's okay. I'd still be kind of like,
I tattoo. I hurt people for a living. I have no problem. I'll do it.
okay, well, you might do it.
Well,
We'll get a dentist and Sean to fly him.
I'll tell you what. What does the chat say about this? What do you guys think? All the chat.
I'm totally down. Dude, I will film that. We just got to spend some money on
Yeah, see,
plexiglass. We got to figure out a way to mount it so that the camera can be behind it. It's got to be big enough so that we don't screw up and miss it.
Yep.
We're going to have to put marks on it so you can see it because
Yep.
if it's clear, you can't just have a big piece of plexiglass. We're going to have like an inch thick at least. It's going to probably crack it. So we have to have not only the camera behind it, we have to have like two from each side, one angled towards it, one directly sideways, and then hope that we get the footage from whatever we're filming with as we hit it.
Well, that's why I say if we can get Ken Heron in on it and Chris Rollins, they both have those high-speed cameras.
It's a matter of getting everybody together
Yeah.
too.
Well,
Right.
if we shoot for spin up or spin down,
There's a potential for that, yeah.
Right.
we might be able to make that happen.
And there's definitely open areas in Austin and
Oh.
here that we can go destroy stuff in.
I know
So-
what other way we could do it if we can't work that out with those that have them personally. Those are rentable. You can
you
rent
usually
those kind of
a high
cameras.
speed camera.
Oh yeah. Well, worst case scenario, I mean,
Kelly would know.
oh, hey guys, my son is calling, so we're gonna wrap this up because it's late for him to be calling. I appreciate you guys being on the show.
You bet.
I hate to wrap it up so quickly. Email me for the sticker.
Yes.
No clue what he's calling about this late, so I'm gonna let you go and we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Thanks
right,
you guys for joining me, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
See you
Catch
later,
you later,
Doc.
son.
Later, everybody.
Bye, Lon.
Later.